Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Chaos Child, the Hannah route this time. Our second part, we've spent the night at Hannah's dorm. Not in a lewd way, apparently, although there were several implications. And we found out that she's not only a psychic, but she can apparently manifest disintegration machines or some shit. I think she commented that it was a portal device from the MMO she plays. Why it turned people into fine red mists, I'll never know. She said the effect looked like the one from the game, but I assume the game doesn't send red gore in every direction when you use it. So I'm curious to see how this ends up. Alright, when I woke up, it was bright outside. That's less depressing. I felt a warmth in my hand. Kazuki was still holding my hand, just like she'd been when I fell asleep. Oh, they fell asleep holding hands, that's cute.
Kazuki, 起きるんだ.
So, she has... I see a dresser and a tracksuit. Alright. Is that pink? Is that pink and black or red and black, you think? Like, I'm not sure if it's just how bright everything near the window is. But alright, it's a cool tracksuit. And look at the fucking lollipops, man. She has one of those store racks of lollipops. No wonder she always seems to have more. She has literal tins of dried squid. I can see 2 jars of the damn stuff. And then an entire store rack's worth of suckers here. Damn, alright. Yeah, she lives in a dorm. Why the heck is she not just playing video games in her dorm? Does she like the desktop experience that much more? I mean, she's got this laptop. Presumably, it's a decent one, right? Alright, Kazuki, get up. Why does Kazuki have to wake up? She just murdered someone. Also, I'm pretty sure, on the left, okay, on that shelf on the left above the suckers, are those supposed to be Xbox games and, like, PSP games, or are those actual books or manga? They might be manga, they look fairly small. But, like, the green tops are pretty distinctively Xbox, right? Like, at a glance, my first thought is Xbox games followed by PlayStation 3 games, actually. That looks like the PlayStation 3 game case, because the PlayStation 3 game cases are shorter than Xbox ones, right? Although not by that much. They're actually a little bit taller. But I also don't see a console anywhere here, so who knows? That's just my first thought when I see a row of cases with like colorful spines. I see colorful spines and like green and black, which is usually like your original Xbox games. And then like the white tops with white spines, black text, and like clear plastic casing is typically the PlayStation 3 and not the PlayStation 2. I think PlayStation 2 is like black, right? PlayStation 2 did full size and black cases. Anyway, Kazuki, get up. We can't hold hands forever, unfortunately. She must not have been fully awake yet because she didn't let go.
起きろって.
Rika has either been killed or isekai'd into ESO2. One of those two. Depending on the limits of her powers. Get up. She's enjoying her rest. Oh. No, wait, she might have been talking there. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Her normal dialogue is and she was saying like outside of context. We have no idea if she's sleeping, if this is her sleeping, or if it's like, I don't want to wake up, or is it like, or is she actually saying something? Alright. She did a double take. She rubbed her eyes a few times, gawking at her hand in mine, then looked at my face, and then back at her hand again. This is... She's speaking again. Her face was bright red and she was looking downward. But she didn't let go.
そういうリアクションしないでくれますか?
Please don't react that way. She didn't let go, so she doesn't hate it, right? I'm not used to this stuff either, you know? Aren't you supposed to be a normie? I thought holding hands and talking to girls was no big deal for normies. There was nothing in Cool Cat Press about how to deal with this situation. Mom! My Cool Cat Press doesn't tell me! I can't handle it! Guys, Cool Cat Press doesn't say what to do after you've held hands with a girl. What do I do from here? Crap, I'm starting to sweat. If Katsuki knows, she might think I was creepy. Yeah, more importantly, your hand's gonna start sweating. That's when you have to let go, right? No. She might not like the sweaty hands.
とりあえず手を離してくれよ。出ないとトイレにも行けない。
Anyway, would you let go? I can't go to the bathroom like this. I mean, you can.
トイレ。
The bathroom. This is a student dorm. Are these co-ed? This is a student dorm. Are these co-ed? She probably doesn't have a bathroom in her dorm room. Finally, my hand was free. My body ached all over because I'd slept in such a weird position, and my skin still stung a little. I remember this sensation from when I'd gone swimming as a little kid and gotten sunburned. I closed my eyes and could still see the red flame. It gave me goosebumps. I quickly shook the image out of my head. After I used the restroom, apparently there is a bathroom in her dorm. There's a bathroom in her dorm room. Damn, this is like a high-end dorm. This is a high-end fucking dorm if you have like your own personal ensuite. That's nice. Alright, you got Kazuki's permission to turn on the TV. There's no way she actually has a cable TV connection, right? Like, no way. She's in a fucking dorm. It was about 9 a.m. We were late for school, but I didn't feel like going anyway. I decided to skip today. There was a news program on, just like I thought. It was talking about what had happened last night. Most of the video was of the burning cars around the front gate, though.
未確認ながら不審な女が侵入したという情報もあります。
We have an unconfirmed report that a suspicious woman entered the school as well. Now that would be Rika.
と言いますのも、敷地内で何度か爆発のような音がしたのを周囲の住民の方々が聞いているんですね。
You know, if there was a bombing at school and you were aware of it, I wouldn't show up either. Or something that was interpreted as a bombing. The school's probably closed, right? School's probably closed. Like, there's what sounds like several explosions inside the school grounds. Multiple classrooms are burnt to a crisp. There's like 20 burning wrecks of cars in front of the school.
しかも屋上には血痕とさらには謎の物体が残っていたということで、警察はテロの可能性もあるとして調べを続けています。
There were also bloodstains and a mysterious object found on the roof. The police are investigating a possible terror link. Mysterious object must have been what Kazuki called a portal device. That thing was still there? Would the police be okay if they touched it? Would they disappear like the woman? I took another look at my uniform. It'd have been too dark for me to see, but you're basically covered in red, right? It was covered in blood. It got painted red. The blood even soaked through to my undershirt. It made me feel sick just thinking about whose blood it was. You know, that blood's also probably dry. So, like, wouldn't that be, like, super awkward to wear that shirt? Like, imagine you get covered in blood, and blood, like, dries out, and it's like your entire shirt, right? Wouldn't that be, like, super awkward to move around in, because it'd kind of just, like, crack all the time? Like, he's been sleeping, like, 6-8 hours, right? So it's probably all dry. It's probably mostly or all dry. It'd either be really sticky, because blood's usually sticky, or it'd be, like, solidified. Which would just be weird. Which would be weird to move around into. Right. I wanted to change, but of course there were no men's clothes in Kazuki's room. You don't know that, you haven't asked her. Maybe I should borrow her PC later and order some. There's a tracksuit right here. If you take off your shirt, put on the tracksuit, be done. Like, how can these tracksuits are normally super bulky. No one will notice. I mean, apart from the fact that it's pink. That might be might be not the most manly color. Yeah, rest in peace, this guy's shirt. Oh, his clothing's screwed, right? Like, he fell asleep for 8 hours. He was covered in a shower of blood. There is no way any of his clothing is going to be usable. He's just going to toss that, right? It's one thing if it's like a small blood stain and you kind of want the shirt and you get attention on it immediately. Or like, you know, you get some fucking fruit juice or some shit on it. Like, it's one thing if you deal with the stain immediately or it's a small stain. I don't think you can redeem having like 3/4 of your shirt covered in blood. I think you just toss the shirt at that point, right? How much did the police know anyway? Did they know who that suspicious woman was or who she was after? If the police found out and what came to question me, they'd inevitably learn what happened after that.
いやいや、まだあの女が死んだって決まったわけじゃ。
We don't know for sure she's dead yet. There's just like 6 liters of blood on the ground. No big deal. Even if she was dead, that was self-defense. They wouldn't prosecute me for that. Right, of course they wouldn't. Correction. It's not even something they can prosecute you for since you didn't kill her. It's kind of cute. At least, that's what I try to tell myself. You're probably safe. It's definitely self-defense. She's literally throwing fireballs at you. If nothing else, even if she's not trying to kill you, that's like reckless endangerment right there. When I remembered what happened yesterday, it felt like my legs were going to start shaking again. I was worried about Arimura, but didn't know how to get in touch with her. I decided to go down to the public phone in the dorm lobby and call Sarika to see if she knew anything. She told me that she and Karus were hiding Arimura in my RV. They'd happened to run into her last night after we'd been attacked by that woman. Oh. Okay, that's fair. I was about to complain about them letting her use my house, but changed my mind. What was important was that Arimura was safe. No, what's important is that she might stumble on your Cool Cat magazine collection, and you don't want people to know about that. That's the real problem with her staying in your house. Sarika and Karus were both very worried about me. All Arimura had told them was that I'd been attacked by a woman who could control fire. But I was as vague as possible. She's fucking dead. There was no way I could tell them what had happened yesterday. I hung up quickly without telling her where I was. Then, I went back to my room. You mean Karus's room, right? Or not Karus, Kazuki's room, right? They say school's closed today. Yeah. Like 10 cars were destroyed. There's a fucking body on the roof. There's that like there's like 6 liters of blood on the roof. There's been like 20 destroyed cars. Half the rooms in the school are bombed out. Like, yeah. Damn right they're closing the school to be like, what the fuck just happened? If nothing else, they need to gather evidence. The roof might be closed off for a few days. And the cars will probably take a few hours to clear out. They probably only showed up, what, like 30 minutes? They probably showed up, what, like an hour, 30 minutes after the burning cars thing happened? Probably about that long. That's what Karus told me on the phone. Yeah. The police were probably investigating. For sure, for sure. Kazuki, can I ask you something? Can I borrow the tracksuit that's right on the wall? What did you do yesterday? Okay. There are books. Where is the spare paper in her room? She has a laptop, but like... Okay, maybe that there's spare paper on the second shelf, but like... If you're someone who's actively trying to avoid talking because it's super dangerous... Like, if you're trying to avoid talking because you hate talking, you should have another way of communicating other than by grunting. Or if you like or if you can't control your magic power, but it seems like she can because she consciously summoned the sword, so... Whatever. You know, if she's trying to avoid talking, I feel like she'd have a better way of communicating. At least have, like, a notebook or a tablet that you can, like, just type words into so that people can read what you're saying. Kazuki didn't answer. Is it something you can't tell me? And her hair really sticks out far. I just noticed that. From the back of her head, that hair really sticks out pretty far. You have some kind of special power too, don't you? She's not saying no, but that's obvious. You're not saying anything new. She still didn't say a word. She'd gone She'd done so much talking last night, but now she was back to her usual self.
まあ喋れないわけじゃないだろう。何も知らないっていうわけでもなさそうだし。
But it's not like you can't talk, right? And it seems like you know what's up, too. Kazuki shook her head.
良くないかも。
It might not be good. Maybe. Maybe.
良くない？何が？
Not good? What isn't good?
私と喋るの良くないかも。
It might not be good if I talk, maybe. What did that mean? Probably had something to do with the way she'd suddenly started talking last night.
先輩の知りたいこと、詳しい人いるかも。
There might be someone who knows the answers you want. Maybe.
詳しい人？どこに？
Someone who knows the answers? Where? Kazuki pointed. To the low table in the center of the room. The laptop, of course, right? There's a small laptop on it. Alright. Hana Kazuki is a gigalomaniac, and a special one at that. The critical point to remember is sound. In other words, her voice. She can spread information energy of a delusion with her voice. You want a nice term to classify it? How about communicable gigalomania? What makes it difficult is that she lacks the power to control it, and doesn't have any other powers. Teal dear. Her power is useless. Shit tier. Sucks to be her. The person she was talking about was typing in the chat window on the screen. Wait, is she talking or is one of her friends talking? I was shocked to see the handle Night Heart on the screen.
ナイトハルトってもしかして。
Is Night Heart? Who's Night Heart? Lightning fast Night Heart? The one who sometimes went by Neidhart der Blitz now? Too? What? Who is this? Who is this? We haven't even heard either of these names before. also random German. Here you go. Oh, the random German. Alright. I'm like reading it in English. I'm like, wait a minute, this is. I was like reading Lightning Fast Nightheart, and I'm like, okay. And I get to the second line, I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't English. I don't know what the Japanese fascination with weird German names is, but here we are again. Like their third favorite language. It's like, actually, it might be Dutch. It might be Dutch sometimes. There's a lot of Dutch words. There's a lot of Dutch words in Japanese, right? But yeah, they seem to specifically like. It's English. It's always English and German. A nice triangle. They clearly have three for it. They clearly have three favorite languages. Weird English NP lines. And of course, if it's German, there just might be some German in those lines. Alright. The guy responsible for the ESPER panic just before the earthquake 6 years ago? The one people said might have been deeply involved in the quake itself? I gulped. There was so much I wanted to ask him. I could write a whole article just on him. Was Nightheart a gigalomaniac too? Is Nightheart Kazuki? Kazuki typed, tapping expressionlessly away at the keyboard. Ah, her name is Katsuo Hana in-game. She has 876,300 maximum hit points and has like 20 buffs while she's standing passively. Holy shit. Look at the fucking buff bar while she's just chilling at. Oh no, she's level 53. That's her XP. I'm blind. Still, that's a fuck ton of buffs to have while just chilling out. Stop talking. Please stop moving the text. I can't read it all. I can't. Okay, I can read it, but I can't read it all out loud because he calls himself the god of ESO. Alright. Katsuo Hano is her nickname. Please? Can we get another pop-up so I can read the text? No, really?
その顔文字毎回入力してるのか
Do you type in those emoji by hand every single time? That's what we're asking instead of letting me read the stuff out loud. I thought I'd get another pop-up window where I could read all the chat, and it just auto-scrolled. I didn't even read the first couple lines. That's annoying. Alright. Do you type in those emoji by hand? Yeah, probably. She showed me that she had them registered as shortcuts on the keyboard, but that wasn't important right now. Supposedly, Kazuki and Nightheart knew each other online from being in the same ESO2 guild.
じゃあ能力のことを相談していたのか
And you've been talking to him about your power? Kazuki nodded. Lightning fast Nightheart, the legend himself! The rumors were true after all. I was so excited, I was getting goosebumps all over my body. A lot of people said he was a fake after the ESP incident, but they were wrong.
私、地震の1年後くらいにはもう気づいてた。
I have no clue who this other guy
自分
is.
に特殊な力ある。
We haven't seen Kunosato playing video games, so I have no fucking clue who this is. I realized a year after the earthquake that I had a special power. Maybe.
だからっていいことなんて何もなかったけど。
Not that it ever did anything good for me. A year after the earthquake? That was years ago. She knew about it this whole time? I wanted to ask why she didn't help me when I was trying to learn to use telekinesis, but then I stopped myself. It had something to do with the reason why she never talked. She can't control hers, and it's so bad that it probably randomly happens. As the first few lines we saw that the key was sound, and it's like, what? It's a shit tier power because it's uncontrollable and things may or may not happen. She had the power to put information energy from her delusions into her voice. Nightheart had given it the long, and if you ask me, nonsensical name of communicable Gigalomania.
カズキの力はナイトハルトの説明で大体合っているのか
Is your power more or less what Nightheart said it was? Kazuki nodded.
最初は周囲でおかしなことよく起きるかもって。
At first I just thought, a lot of weird things are happening around me.
例えば友達の持ってたペンが可愛くて欲しいなって言ってたら
Like a friend had a cute pen and I said I wanted
次
it.
の日なぜかそのペン
And the next day, the pen
私
was
のもの
mine.
になってたり家で飼ってた白黒のブチ猫すごくブサイクで好きだったけど毛色はチャトラの方がいいなって独り言を言ったら
What? We had this really ugly black and white cat at home I loved? One day I whispered to myself he'd look better as a tabby.
本当にチャトラになっちゃってたり
And then he really turned into one.
そういうことがいろいろ小学生の頃あっただいたい
There was a lot of that when I was in elementary school, about 5 years ago. Man, I wish I got an A on this test, and suddenly I got an A on it. Damn, I'm a
喋った
genius.
ことが現実になった
What you said became real? Did you ever wish you were a fucking genius? Damn, alright. That would have been useful. No.
それだけじゃない
That wasn't
か
all,
もだけ
maybe.
ど
Seriously, if this is so dangerous and you can't control it, why are you not typing? Like, do some Komi-san tier shit where you just, like, type like a fucking machine or write like a boss. So that you're not accidentally, like, conjuring shit. That wasn't all?
自分の言葉の何が現実化して何が現実化しないか
When I say something, I don't know what will become real and what won't, maybe. I'd just like to point out that if she can't control her voice and anything she says might become real, whenever she explains that she can't control her powers, there's a chance that it becomes true. Right? Right? Like, let's think about this. She's like, you get your powers and you're like, oh shit, I can't control my powers. That becomes real. You can no longer control your powers ever. So she should actually be like the most positive person ever about her powers verbally. She should write down that she can't control her powers and verbally always say, I have perfect control of my powers. Because if anything she says might come true, she's literally cursing herself every time she says this to make it come true. Or make it true that she can't control or what will or won't become real. Nightheart said she couldn't control it. That's why she'd been shouting all those words on the roof. She might have thought that at least one of them would work. And she kind of got the portal device, right?
感染型っていうのはどういう意味？
What did he mean when he said it was communicable?
中学の頃、仲いい友達がいて、いつも一緒だった。
When I was in middle school, I had a good friend. We were always together.
その子と一緒にいるの、すごく楽しくて、姉妹みたいだったかも。
It was so much fun to be with her. We were like sisters.
でも、私の力のせいで。
But because of my power... Her expression clouded. I thought she'd stop talking, but I was wrong.
きっかけは、何気ない言葉だったかも。
It all started with a simple word, maybe.
ごく普通の会話の中の言葉。
A simple word in a normal
で
conversation.
も、その言葉、いろんな人に感染していて、
But that word spread to a lot of different people.
私の知らないところで、私の言葉は私の言葉じゃなくなって、
Without me even realizing it, it stopped being my word.
全然別の意味になっちゃってたかもしれなくて、
It turned into a whole different meaning altogether. Maybe.
自分でもそんな言葉喋ったの忘れちゃったくらいの頃、その言葉が現実化して、
By the time I'd forgotten I'd ever said it, it became real.
そのせいで私の大切な友達家族バラバラになっちゃった。
Oh, she's crying. That's not good. And because of it, her family was torn
そ
apart.
の子のお父さん自殺して、
Her dad committed suicide.
その子のお母さん
Her mom
薬
started
物に
using
手
drugs.
出して、その子のお姉さん知らない男の人たちに拉
Her
致されて、
sister was kidnapped by strange men and went missing? Sweet Jesus, this is going downhill
その
fast.
子は頭おかしくなっちゃった。
She went crazy.
元をたどっていったら、
And I-
私の言
Then I
葉のせい
figured
だっ
out, maybe it
た。
was because of my word. Damn, don't say whatever that word is.
かもじゃなくて、
Not maybe, it was.
私のせい。
What did you say that made all that happen?
こんな力なければよかったって。
I wished I could get rid of this power. What was the word you
な
said?
くすことできないなら、
But since I couldn't, I thought if I never said another word, I wouldn't be able
一
to hurt
言
anyone
も
else.
喋らなければ、
So in
もう誰
conclusion,
か傷つけること
So in
ない。
conclusion,
Come
you've
on.
made a vow of silence because every time you open your mouth, disaster might occur. But instead of writing things down and us reading things in your voice and only like communicating verbally during an emergency, you are sitting here talking to us when you have Japanese, one of the most like information dense languages that you could just type or write things out in. I don't understand you. I don't understand, Hannah. Do you not know how to write or read Japanese? This should be like the first thing you do is just, okay, I'm gonna fucking write everything I say down. Instead, she's just like, I'm gonna pretend that I just don't like to talk. Like, alright, now you know the secret. Now you know the fact that if I speak, horrible things can happen, because if I say anything, it could happen. If I say I almost got hit by a car could literally spawn beside us and almost hit me, but kill both of you. So we're not gonna speak. And I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything about what happened to me. But I guess that's not how we're doing things. Weird choice, honestly. If nothing else, she could pretend to be super shy and text you all the time. Oh wait, your character didn't have a phone.
壁法入ってから喋ったの。
You're the first person I've talked to since I came to Hekiho, Takeru. Okay, but why are you talking? We now know it's a problem if you talk. Shut your mouth. So that's why she didn't talk? If she talked, her power might activate. And if what Nightheart said was true, she couldn't control it. There's no way to prove whether or not what happened to her in middle school was because of her power. Even so, if she'd been able to control it, she'd probably asked herself that question a million times. Maybe remaining silent was her way of punishing herself. Dude, just write shit down. I asked Kazuki's permission to type a question to Nightheart. He said he'd dox her ass any day of the week. Alright, may I ask a question? Why can't Kazuki control her power? No emoji? Who are you? A member of her club at school. Oh, Miyashiro. This guy knows who you are. How did you know my name? We're talking in general chat, by the way. Kazuki told me about you yesterday. She said there was a moron in her club who had psychic powers. Hey, don't interrupt it. I'm trying to read that, Hannah. A moron in her club who had psychic powers, and I didn't catch the rest. All I know is that we're the idiot with psychic powers. Also, what was I gonna say? They're talking in general. They're not talking in party chat. It's genuinely bothering me. Like, you're not even gonna use like the whisper system. You're gonna just fucking talk in general chat. Like, imagine playing an MMO and like sharing your real life name in like /s. Like you're playing World of Warcraft, hanging out in fucking Stormwind, and you're like, oh, you know, my real name's not X. It's actually, you know, my real name's not Ethereal. It's actually John Smith. Yeah, and like, really? And you're like, oh yeah, oh, you're the John Smith from Hecky Ho Academy. Wow, that's great. Like, really? But that seems like a terrible idea. Just doing that anywhere in the world's stupid. Just use whispers. It's so easy. Especially in a lot of games where, like, if you just press enter to type, it'll go to the last chat channel you used. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but that was a bad choice on their part. Literally anyone walking by could learn their real names. Her face went red as she frantically shook her head.
相談したけど
I talked to him.
タクル先輩最近変な力手に入れたみたいだったかもだから
You've gotten a weird power recently. Maybe.
人前とかで使いすぎると危ないかもって思って
And I thought maybe it might be a good idea not to use it too much when other people are around.
でもバカとか言ってない
But I didn't call you a moron. Maybe. Maybe. Well, you say everything maybe. She says everything maybe. That's probably 100% true. She's just saying maybe because that's what she always says. It's like she feels like everything... she feels like she can't be 100% aware of the truth of this world. Because of everything she says might manifest something, so... manifest something that changes the truth of the world, so maybe she doesn't believe in like 100% objective reality. Because she said maybe to everything, so I wouldn't worry about the fact that she said maybe. I'd be like, cut off the maybe from all her sentences. If she says the sky is blue, she might be like, the sky is blue maybe. Psychic powers but didn't know how to use them, lol. Why is it that Kazuki can't control her powers? This is what I learned from talking to her, but oh, I'm about to tell you it's top secret. Don't go around repeating it. You know how you need a shared idea to real build a delusion, right? Sometimes that... holy shit. In my mind, I chose need a target to the delusion, then plug the delusion directly into their mind. Sometimes that delusion involves sex, other times it also involves sex. On occasions, there were also sex. You can skip the jokes. I was fucking serious. What's important is that you're plugging the delusion directly into the target's brain. That's what creates a clear mental image that can be shared. The clear image is what's needed for a successful real boot, but Kazuki can't do that. All she can do is spread information energy from her delusions via sound. Sound contains no visual information, which means the mental image becomes vague. It's a lot less reliable than implanting an image directly. Just like it's hard to visualize an image based off a description, right? Of course, an otaku like me can do that easily, as long as it has something to do with sex. But Kazuki's power is one trait that makes it unique. When other people hear the sound, it echoes. That's why I call it communicable. Like a rumor, it grows and changes as it spreads, like a game of telephone. That's her, spreading delusions to a random group of people. Imagine a guy giving a speech in front of a station. Now someone passing by hears it, takes it to school, and tells a friend there. Then that person repeats to someone else. The contents of the speech echo and expand. In that way, Katsuki's sound can expand even when she's not there. That's what makes her different from a typical gigglomaniac. Even if it echoes, it's extremely rare for her to real boot. Like I said before, delusions spread by sound are very vague, but once in a while there's an extremely low probability that several people will imagine the exact same image when they hear a given sound. When that happens, Katsuki's delusion is real booted, whether she wants it to be or not. When Katsuki speaks, she has no way of knowing if there's an astronomically low chance two people somewhere will share the same mental image. Holy shit, that was a lot of reading. It's all coincidence. Alright, that was a lot of information to take in. That was a lot of information to speak. I'm pretty sure he said sex like 4 times. Like 5 times. He's like, I can real boot delusions, but only if they involve sex. Really? He's being serious? Alright. I tried as hard as I could to understand everything that Nightheart was saying. It would help if you could scroll up in this game. Oh, now it scrolls up. Fuck you! Now it scrolls up! Oh, screw you guys! I read that as fast as I could. I read that as fast as I could in real time, and they're like, now we scroll up. The time he's actually reading it. Oh, man. A rumor could, under certain circumstances, turn into a form of demagoguery, capable of altering an entire society. The Kazuki's power is the same thing as that. That would explain why it's not safe for her to talk. It must have been a terrifying possibility to her. What about that ESO2 portal device? It was real booted last night when Kazuki spoke. Oh, so that news story was you guys. Why a portal device? I just told you she can't control her powers, right? But I don't know what the... So someone who heard it happened to know about ESO2's portal devices didn't happen to be real booted. It's all coincidence. Of course you could say that it's a coincidence the other things that she said weren't real booted. The second the woman who attacked us touched the portal device, she disappeared. Where do you think she went? Oh, you know. She's probably dead, right? Obviously. Instead of just disappearing, she literally turned into a fucking... a shower of blood. A delicious drink. I guess I could use some more. You could type the words like they were nothing at all, right? Yeah, right. Easy. Even though it was something neither Katsuki nor I wanted to accept. She's probably dead, yeah. That portal device was the only one that got real booted, right? I ran a net search and didn't see any others. In ESO2, if you touch a portal device, you get warped to another one, but if there's only one device, there's nowhere to warp, right? She was probably transported to a dimensional rift or dissolved at the subatomic level. Of course, if there were 2 portal devices, I don't know if you'd actually be able to teleport between them. Basically, it only recreated the appearance of it. The cold words appeared on the computer's LCD monitor. I like how he's so chill. He's like, oh yeah, she probably like got instantly disintegrated because there's only 1 portal device, and I don't know if it actually worked if it was 2. Dude, alright, time to do a baller experiment. We get Hannah to say portal device, and then we get some idiot to touch the both the portal devices and see what happens. What do you think? What do you think? Is it too cruel? That's like something the SC... Well, actually, no. The SCP Foundation would just arrest her and try to stop her from talking. But, you know, experimenting with weird portal devices is something to do at the SCP Foundation. I think that'd be fun. Just send a D-class civilian in. Be like, yeah, just touch the portal device, see what happens. Oh, he died. Well, what if he touches the other one first? Still dead. Both at the same time? Not dead. Ah, interesting. Now if you touch the left one, oh, still dead. Alright. Only the appearance. Kazuki and I both stared at them. She was dead. The woman was dead. Hearing it from an objective third party made me want to throw up. Yeah, SCP would instantly shut down any gigglomaniac. Oh, sorry, I gotta log off. Gotta go to Nippon Bashi and get myself a Mimi Yumenohara figure. Nippon Bashi? Are you in Osaka? Yeah, sure, why not? Why so vague? I'm actually super busy these days running around the world. I haven't been able to make it to Akihabara in a while, actually. It sucks. So today I'm having an otaku merchandise hunting party. Furthermore, I'm the only one participating. Last night, I was so excited I only got 2 hours of sleep. Actually, did you hear about the last episode of Good and Viral being canceled? I know there's something going on like that. Like the staff got into a fight or something. My otaku sense is tingling. The Mimi figures are going to be in high demand. Real soon. That's why I'm going to get them while I can. I can make a fortune reselling them. Anyway, you kids have fun, lol. Was this the kind of person Nightheart was? I was a little disappointed, maybe.
変数2でしか会えないかもだから
I can only see him on ESO2. Maybe.
結構コンタクト取るの面倒かも
It might be a little hard to get hold of him. Maybe.
ログインすれば大抵いるけど
He's usually there when I log in, though. It was a weekday, but he said he was going to Nippon Bashi. He also said he was traveling around the whole world. Both of these statements seemed like lies. Who was he, really? I didn't get to ask him about what happened 6 years ago, either. He just pieced out. But there's no point in thinking about Nightheart now. Yeah, he logged out, so he's gone. What should we do? Go to the police? Pretend we didn't know anything? Yeah, go with that one. Should we pretend we weren't even at the school last night? That might be a good idea. Should I tell Sarika and Karus? Maybe. Rumors weren't something you could control. The more people knew a secret, the more likely it was to leak.
昨日のことは僕と和樹だけの秘密にしよ
Let's keep what happened last night a secret between you and me. That's a decent plan. Kazuki froze and looked at me pleadingly.
う。それでしばらく様子を見る。
We'll just keep an eye on things for a while. Alright. I still didn't know why that woman had attacked us. It didn't seem to have anything to do with the return of New Generation Madness, though. That's good. The way she attacked us was too different from the other murders. The most likely possibility was she was a psychopath, but that's only a theory. Oh, film theory. No. Maybe someone else was controlling her. It would be best to be careful. I should avoid attracting any attention. Maybe I should shut down the newspaper club for a while, too.
タクル先輩ごめんなさい
Takeru, I'm sorry. If you say you're sorry, do you become sorry by virtue of the fact that I'm aware what a sorry person looks like? And can predict what you'd look like when you're sorry? For some reason, she apologized, even though it wasn't her fault. If anything, it was my fault for getting her involved.
これで分かったかもしれないけど
Maybe you understand now.
先輩も私とこれ以上話さない方がいい
But you shouldn't talk to me anymore. Maybe.
私の声良くないこと引き起こしちゃうから
My voice makes bad things happen.
こんな声なければよかった
I wish I never had it. She looked down, her expression sad. Okay, well, you actually have a very useful power. The issue is you just need people who know what you're talking about. So if you ask for a portal gun, if you ask for a fucking portal gun, you need to have someone else with you who's played Portal or it doesn't work. Is that what I'm getting? Because the delusion needs to be shared to the degree that someone else believes it exists and knows exactly what you're talking about. So, if you say portal gun or AK, someone needs to know what that looks like. I'm actually very surprised she didn't get an AK. Imagine screaming AK into AK-47 into a crowd of 100 people and not a single person knowing what an AK looks like. Like, it's the most generic assault rifle you've ever seen that shows up in like every fucking movie on the planet involving guns. It's like, oh no, you're fighting bad guys. Oh, they're Russians. What do they have? Lots of AKs. Oh, they're Islamic terrorists. Lots of AKs. Oh, they're fucking like gangsters with assault rifles. Oh, AKs. Like, fuck, man. Could have screamed Goku. I guess she's in Japan. She's in Japan. She could have screamed Gundam. Fuck, man. Just spawn a Gundam in the middle of the city. Be like, fuck it, I'll take one. What are you gonna do? Burn it? It's like, oh, there's a statue like 5 blocks away of a giant fucking Gundam. Why not? People know what that looks like, right? Godzilla is a terrible idea, but I could see it being real. Although, the issue with Godzilla is if you say Godzilla, you might get a man in a costume or just the costume. That's the one downside, is enough people know Godzilla is like a dude in a costume that you might just get the Godzilla costume. But seriously, I'm surprised no one in Japan knew what no one in the region, especially Takuru, knew what an AK looked like. How did he not know what an AK looked like? I'm okay with her picking like a portal gun because like people don't play Portal necessarily, but like some of the things she screamed should have been obvious. Maybe you needed like this exact same vision or something. But I feel like if she has one or two people around her who know enough about what she wants when she says something, and they all collectively agree to imagine just falling into her hands, you could get basically anything you wanted, right? Like, the delusion sucks because you need other people to get it to work, but it's really strong because you can spawn anything. So, if she plays ESO, so if she says Excalibur, and you know what Excalibur looks like from like the version of Excalibur she's thinking of, or the fucking version from Fate, because it doesn't fucking matter. She doesn't need to share your delusion. If you and the person beside you both know what Fate, the Excalibur from Fate looked like, she's literally gonna get that sword. And if you're both like, I envision it just showing up in the stone, 2 feet in front of her. I know it's Caliban, but like, wouldn't that be great? That'd be like super OP. You just like ask for anything as long as you have like a shared vision and you can kind of plan out your vision beforehand. It could be really useful. It's a lot of work, but it could be really good because then you're like, I want a flamethrower, and it's just like flamethrower. Okay. Like, it could be really good. It's just the issue is it might need some planning, but it's like potentially good. Oh well, too bad. Bonus points. Sarika is actually good for this because Sarika can read your mind. I don't know how accurate Sarika's mind reading is, but since Sarika can read your mind, she can say portal gun. Sarika could, depending on like how her mind reading works, if it's just like the text or like, I don't know what she gets, whether she gets a vision of what you're imagining or if she gets like the like audible sounds or like what she gets, but if she can read your mind and she can see what you're envisioning, then you'd be able to say portal gun. Sarika would use her telepathy on you, know what you were imagining, and instantly real boot it for you, which would be super good, right? So you get like 2 telepaths. You get 2 telepaths with you at all times. You say anything, they both instantly know what you're thinking of, real boot it for you, and you get whatever you want. And everyone wins, because you spawn 500 million yen. You say 500 million yen, and 500 million yen spawns in front of you, because they know what the fuck yen look like. Her power is making her suffer. Yeah, although the downside is, like, I don't know if it's just, like, a random chance for it to actually work on top of the shared delusion part. If you were to ask for like a briefcase full of 500 million yen or some shit, like conceivably it would work if you both knew the exact details of it, but I don't know how much like, I don't know how like directed your illusion has to be. Maybe it just doesn't always work. I don't know. I feel like it has the potential to be really good though if you have like a good friend who knows what you're talking about. Yeah, they could summon anything. They could even summon a Yangui Fei body pillow for you. Presumably they persist, like the fucking portal device does, so that'd be awesome. I just don't know what the detail work is, right? I don't know what the detail work, like, I don't know what kind of details you know. So like if you asked for like, if you were to go to like the store page, if you were to go to like Newegg, go to the store page, look up a GTX like 3090 Ti, and then say GTX 3090 Ti like the exact model number, so like, I don't know, the Asus Strix RTI X2357 or whatever it's called, would you instantly get that if you both knew what object she was talking about? Would you get the card instantly? Or would you like get something that looked like the card because you don't know how it works, but it's a physical object? Or would you get the real card? Or is it like, does the portal device not work because it's not a real thing in the world? Or does it not exist because you don't know how it actually works? Or does it not exist because your knowledge of it, the person who imagined it with her's knowledge of it was insufficient? I guess we don't know enough, right? You'd probably start with something simple, like try to spawn a brick, a red brick. Say you're like red brick, try to consistently spawn a red brick with like 3 people, okay? Get 3 people in the room, red brick. I want to spawn a red brick. And you do that until you can consistently spawn the red brick. You all look at a picture of a brick, you all consistently try to envision it, and you get 1 brick. And once you can do that consistently, then maybe you move on to more complicated things and see if it'll autofill internals or do something. You do red brick, then maybe you do a red brick, then you do a copy of the monitor you're looking at to see if you can copy the monitor, then you test the monitor, see if it works. Maybe you need a more accurate vision, so you look at the back ports to see if the back ports actually show up the second time you look at it, like something like that. Yeah, we'll see. So, it's a cool idea for power, though. It requires a lot of work, though. As an older student from her club, I should probably say something to her. She'd used her power to save me, even though she hated it.
なあ、カズキ。
Kazuki?
昨日、助けてくれて、ありがとう。
Thanks for saving me last night.
感謝してるんだ。
I'm really grateful.
その、カズキ自身は力を嫌っているかもしれないけどさ。
You might hate your power, maybe, but
僕はその力のおかげで今も生きてるわけで。
thanks to that power, I'm still alive.
それにほら。
And, well, you know.
そう、あれだ。そんなにカズキの声悪くないと思う。
I don't think your voice is that bad.
可愛い声してるって。本当にお世辞じゃなくて。
It's cute, really. I'm not just saying that. Her voice is cute. Her voice is cute, Takuru, and you're being I don't know, is this Takuru being smooth? He's actually doing an alright job at
だ
this.
からそんなに自分の声のことを否定するなよ。
So don't get depressed about your power because your voice is cute? Okay. Wow, that was pretty embarrassing to say. I can feel the sweat beading on my forehead. I mean, she does have a cute voice. But Kazuki didn't respond at all. She was looking down at her cell phone. What? I looked closer and saw there was a cord running from it to her ears. Oh, she didn't even hear us. Oh, that's right.
いつの間にかヘッドホンしてるし。
Why did you put your headphones on? She didn't even hear that? What the hell? I should have just gone back to sleep. I went to a corner of the room, buried my head in my knees, and tried to sleep.
ありがとう、先輩。
Thanks, senpai. For the next 2 days, Kazuki and I spent all our time in this room doing nothing at all. Why are you spending all your time with Kazuki? I don't understand. Wouldn't you just go right home after this? Why are you staying with Kazuki? Do people actually do this? A few days ago, I never would have imagined I'd be living in a room with a girl from my club. Why are you? Please explain. Sadly, nothing romantic happened at all. So, you just decided to move in here and never had a conversation? Why didn't you go home? Shouldn't she kick you out at some point? Or is she terrified of okay, I don't understand what's happening here. Surely, she'd like write down, please leave. Like, go back home or something, but for some reason he spent 3 days at her house. I don't understand why. I go to visit your house? When I go to visit someone's house, I don't just live there for 3 days. And clearly the clothing problem can be solved. She has a tracksuit right over there. You take off your shirt, maybe your pants, you wear the fucking tracksuit and you go home, get a change of clothes, come right back if she needs that moral support. Maybe she needs that moral or mental support and you're like, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go get a fresh change of clothes so I'm not sitting in this blood. I'm not sitting in this clothes that are covered in someone else's blood. Because that's, you know, unhygienic. But I guess anime logic, we just spend 3 days at someone's house for no reason. Like, I've never visited someone's house and without ever even talking to them spent 3 days there. That doesn't make any sense to me. All I did was watch the news on TV. I wanted to look online, but Kazuki was using the computer the whole time and wouldn't give it to me. Even now, Kazuki was seated in front of the only computer in the room, a low-spec, compact laptop. There was an angular glare in her eyes as she stared at it. So it is a low-spec laptop, and she could... We've seen her play ESO. I don't know why. I guess it's because the specs suck. It was like she was trying to intimidate her monitor. Her frustration was plain to see on her face. So what does she do in place of punching the wall? Because she punches the wall at school. What does she do here? She was a totally different person than the one who cried as she told me about her powers 2 days ago. Actually, this is the Kazuki I always saw in the club room, wasn't it? She just hits the desk. Rest in peace, Desk-chan. So he's just chilling, like, I don't get it. He's just chilling out while she plays video games? I mean, that's cool, but like, surely he went home at some point, got a change of clothes, and came back, right? If nothing else, he needs to go home, get a fucking toothbrush. Come on, bro. Bro. I thought I could hear the sound of her gritting her teeth.
ゲームにそんなに熱くなるなよ。また負けたのか?
Don't get so emotional over a game. Did you lose again? Takuru's being the girlfriend here. He was sulking. You see later, Hannah Kazuki would spend the whole day playing video games. Isn't it great, Hannah? I can sympathize with Hannah harder than I can with Takuru. Takuru, I laugh when he suffers. I'm 100% on board with Hannah's experience. Can we live the Hannah Kazuki experience? Like play ESO 2, which it looks okay. She would barely even eat. The only food in this room was dried squid and lollipops, both of which are available in enormous quantities. It freaked me out a little, honestly. Yeah, you should probably go get some real food for her. Of course, thanks to them, I was able to eat something without having to leave. Dude, like, you don't need to get anything crazy. This is Japan, right? They have convenience stores that sell edible food. Like sandwiches that people like. Like, your standard anime character just goes to the convenience store and buys sandwiches for dinner or like something that's microwavable anyway. Why not just go there and grab like 5 days worth of food? I don't understand why they're just eating like dried squid. Just go to the convenience store and pick up like sandwiches, fried chicken, and something else. And it's like 2 blocks. Come on, man. I'm lazy as shit, so I buy like super simple meals. But alright, whatever. At least Hannah's cute. I just don't understand why they aren't eating anything else for 3 days. Alright. Kazuki ran her fingers through her hair violently, trying to vent her frustration. I can also sympathize with how frustrating it is to try and run your hands through your hair when you're wearing a headset. That's literally every day for me. I'm like, oh, that's annoying. Oh, there's like this headset on the way. Oh, I guess I'm not running my hands through my hair. Gets you out of the habit pretty quickly. You could either do that or you only run it through like the front or the very back. She'd been angry ever since yesterday. When I asked her what was wrong, she'd said, this laptop's specs are too shitty to run the game properly. Can't, Hannah, that's not how you do it. You say, Hannah, you're literally the person who has to endlessly say positive things like, you have to say positive things like, the laptop, you have to write down, the laptop's screw happy to run the game, right? And then you speak, the laptop is great. This laptop is great, I just need to turn the settings on. Basically, she's having withdrawal symptoms from being unable to play her games. Sheesh. Then slowly she stood up and headed for the door. Wait, where are you going? For the past 2 days, she'd been unwilling to leave the room. She was probably still thinking about what had happened at school. I felt bad about it, since I was the one who got her involved. Had she recovered? He's going to the newspaper. Ah, going to school. We're gonna play some games. You're kidding me, right? I was too shocked to say anything. She couldn't handle playing the game on her low-spec PC anymore? Sure, the one in the club room was pretty high-end. Why do they have a high-end gaming PC in the club room? Why do you have a high-end gaming PC in the club room? Why? I mean, I know you can use video cards for rendering video, but I didn't think they actually managed to scam the school out of like a high-end PC for that. Can you imagine? Yeah, we need a $2,500 PC. You can't get away with $500. No, we need like a $2,500 PC for rendering. Yeah, we need to render videos in the club room quickly. Yeah. I felt like I'd solved the mystery of why she's always playing in the club room. Yeah, that was pretty obvious the minute it was pointed out it was this low-spec PC. It's like she's in there to play video games. At the minute we saw that she was playing it here, it's like, okay, she's playing it here. If she's in a dorm, she has no excuse unless there's people harassing her or noisy neighbors. She's clearly playing because it's a better experience. It was never clear if that computer belonged to the school or was someone else's personal property. It was one of the 7 mysteries of the newspaper club. Oh, they don't actually know where they got the thing. I didn't really try to stop her. I didn't feel like going to school yet. Part of it was that if I did, I'd remember the terror I'd felt. More importantly, I didn't want to answer all the questions I knew Karus and Ito were going to ask. That's why I'd spent the last 2 days cooped up in this room. No one knew I was here right now. I've been getting calls from Sarika and Karus all day since yesterday, but I'd ignored them all. You gonna go with her? Your new girlfriend? Come on, man. I was sure Kazuki was going to leave, but instead she turned around once she got to the front door. It looked like she was still hesitant about going outside. Hey, are you seriously gonna stay in her room alone?
そんなにゲームって面白いのか?
Is the game that fun? Buy a computer and find out, Takuru. I'd never been able to get into a game as much as Kazuki did. Have you even tried it? All I did was play a few to kill time. When I saw how Kazuki's life seemed to revolve around her game, I started to wonder what was so interesting about it.
なあ、さっきカズキがやっていたゲーム、僕もちょっとやってみていいか?
Can I try the game you were playing a little? Get your own account and PC, bitch. Kazuki nodded, so I sat down in front of the PC. The game screen was still displayed on the monitor. It was a Western game. It was a Western game called Call of Counterfield. So it's a shooter. So you're saying it's a shooter. I like their name. They're like, we can't copy paste any real name. We can't copy paste any real name, so we'll copy paste all 3 of them and blend them together. We'll take Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, and Battlefield, and we'll just call it Call of Counterfield instead. Close enough, right? It's a good Western game. The acronym is COCK. But wait, wasn't she playing ESO too? She was playing ESO too, but apparently she changed it. Well, you know what, to be honest, Counter-Strike has really low system requirements, so that would make sense.
これ、銃で撃ち合うゲームだよね。
Okay, imagine watching someone play Counter-Strike and being like, this is one of those games where you shoot each other with guns, right? It's like, you're playing Halo and you're like, oh, you shoot alien. It's like, you've watched someone for like 4 hours playing Halo, and you're like, can I play? Okay. And you're like, the first thing you do is like, so this is the game where you like shoot aliens, right? And you're like, weren't you just watching someone play the single-player campaign of Halo for like 4 hours? How did you not understand that? Like, you watched someone play for 2 days straight, and you still don't know the basic premise of the game, or what you do in it. What? Like, you shoot people with guns in Counter-Strike. It's not that he's just seeing the game for the show. It's like he's watched someone play it for 2 days straight, and it's just like, you shoot people in this game, right? Right? Oh. It's a puzzle game. It's like, Nancy Drew. It's like, I've seen you do 2 playthroughs of Nancy Drew games. This is it's a puzzle game, right? A mystery and puzzle game? I think they're called FPS, right? Yup, we're gonna just ignore that. Everyone knows what an FPS is.
どうやって操作するんだ?
How do I control it? You lick the screen. Kazuki is like, oh my god. Can you imagine being Kazuki? Like, someone sits down at your computer after watching you play Counter-Strike for 4 hours, and it's like, this is the game where you shoot people, right? And then their second question is, what are the controls? You're like, oh god, kill me. Kill me, please. It's like, someone's going to play a PC, someone's going to play Counter-Strike who literally doesn't even know WASD. No, please.
Mouse.
Put your hand on the mouse. Oh no. Oh no. It's a disaster already. He sat down at the computer. It's like, how do you play this game? It's not like he picked up the controller and was like, I'll use this. It's like he sat at the computer. It's like, how do you play? And she's like, please put your hand on the mouse. You're like, oh no. I feel sorry for Kazuki now. She has to try and teach someone who's so dumb after watching like 8 hours of gameplay, they don't know what you do in the game. Oh no. Or what you use to control it. Like, imagine watching someone in real life. Like, let's go back. Imagine watching someone in real life play Call of Duty for an entire day, and then, like, they're sitting there with their Xbox playing Call of Duty for 8 hours a day, for like 12 hours a day, 2 days in a row. And you're like, oh, yeah, I've heard of this newfangled Xbox console. You, like, shoot people in this game, this Call of Duty game. She's like, yeah. So how do you control it? And it's like, well, first you pick up the controller. Like, oh, you use the control. You weren't just holding the controller because you liked holding it? Like, wow. All right, I feel sorry for her. My hand was on top of the mouse and Kazuki's hand was on top of mine. She was so close. She was right on top of me.
移動はキーボードの W A S D
Use WAS
ダッ
to
シュは
move.
シフトキー
Shift with dash.
グレネード投げる
G
の
with
が G
grenades. I appreciate that this is accurate enough. I was too focused on Kazuki to listen to what she was saying.
じゃ
Play.
あ
Pay attention to the video game. Okay, try it.
かも
Maybe. Kazuki started the game without me. I was placed into a lobby while the game matched me with someone else, but only for a second, before it threw me into the middle of a match. Rest in peace. Alright, he's getting into a multiplayer lobby and he didn't even know what. This is gonna be so painful.
なんだこれ
What's going on? No, Hannah. The tutorial mission. The campaign first level. Either of those. Give him an easy slope. This is mean. This is so mean. I was so caught off guard I panicked a little. When I moved, the screen was jerky. It's really hard to control. Even when I found someone to shoot, they'd shoot me first and I'd die. See, I knew this would happen. I ended the game with 0 kills and 31 deaths. The FPS experience, it's too true. 0 kills, 31 deaths, but you're being hugged from behind by Hannah. That was not good. I don't know how Kazuki managed to play when the screen was this jerky. The computer specs weren't nearly good enough. I felt like I understood why she was so stressed out.
タクル先輩下手くそかも
Takaru, you might suck.
初心者だし画面カクカクだし
I'm a beginner and the screen's really jerky. No, this is Counter-Strike. You have no excuses.
それにその腕に触れているのが気になって集中できなかったか
I
ら
couldn't stop thinking about what was touching my arm, so I couldn't concentrate. She kept whispering, not that way. Dummy, no, not there in my ear too. She's suffering. She's suffering silently alongside all of us. Thank you, Hannah Kazuki, for attempting to educate this complete idiot. Your hand's been on top of mine the whole time. Kazuki's right hand had been on top of mine during the whole game. Kazuki seemed to finally notice how close we were. She was right next to me, so close I could feel her breathing. Her eyes went wide and her face flushed red. Her breath tickled my cheek. Neither of us had showered in 2 days, so I could smell the sweat on her body. Alright, they didn't shower either. Maybe they should shower together. Oh, wait, I'm back. We were close enough to kiss. Cool Cat Press would tell me this was the sign it was okay to push her down. And we were alone in her room? I couldn't take my eyes off her soft lips. This is bad. I didn't know what was going on, but this had to be bad.
カズキ
Kazuki.
僕は
I... The doorbell? Suddenly the intercom rang. I came back to my senses and leapt away from Kazuki. That scared me. Dude, how'd you get... Dude, you should have gone for it. It saved you. If it hadn't interrupted, I might have put my hands on Kazuki. That was something that superficial normies did. Yeah. Who kisses people? Lame normies. I wasn't like those normies. I'm calling them normies because it's way better and seems more comfortable. I was more the stoic sort of normie than normal. That's right. Yep. Kazuki glanced at me as I tried frantically to calm myself down and then picked up the intercom receiver. Wait, why are you answering? Wait, she didn't talk on the intercom either? How's she supposed to communicate with anyone? Kazuki slowly put down the receiver. It looked like she managed to communicate with them. She turned to me. And it looked like something was troubling her.
いや喋っていいよ
It's a...
ていうか喋ってくれ
No! Just write stuff down, Hannah! Come on!
のの先
Please
輩
talk.
が来た。
No is here, maybe! Alright, you got a choice, buddy. There is a balcony here. It doesn't look like it's that high above the street. It might even be on... It might be second floor. You might be able to escape out the balcony. Or at least hide on the left. Maybe if she closes the blinds, no won't notice you. You can escape. That's right, just talk normally. It'll take more than a word or two to do me.
Huh?
1, 2, 3, 4, you're fucked. No was here? I was doomed! It was more than 2 words. It was 4. Why would Karus visit Kazuki's room? Why haven't you showered, you absolute Pega? You were covered in blood. Of course, there's only one reason.
学校には来ない。トレーラーハウスには帰ってこない。青葉寮にも戻らない。セリカのところにもいない。伊藤君のところにも行っていない。
Oh, you screwed up. You screwed up to Kuru. Should have just instantly left. You should have instantly pieced out and been like, fuck this, I'm out of here. But here's no. You weren't at school. You weren't at your RV. You weren't at the dorm, or at Sarika's place, or at Ito's place.
となれば、その次の選択肢はここでしょう。タクルは友達少ないから、新聞部の部員以外に頼れる人はいなさ
Which
そうだ
means
し。
this would be my next choice. You don't have a lot of friends. I can't imagine who you'd go to that wasn't in the newspaper club.
まさか、本当に和樹の部屋に押しかけているなんて、夢にも思わなかったけ
I
ど。
never honestly believed I'd find you here in Kazuki's room, though. I was relieved to see Akurius looked healthy. I probably didn't have to worry about her knife wound anymore. But she's mad. This is the extra mad version of Karus. I knew it was my own fault for calling Sarika once on Tuesday morning and then ignoring everyone's calls. I wanted to run away if I could.
それで、聞かせてくれない？まずどうしてタクルが
Are you willing to talk
和
with
樹の部屋にいるのか。
First, what are you doing in Kazuki's room? That's where she wanted to start? She didn't care about what happened when I was attacked with a pyrokinetic?
タクル、答えなさい。
Taku, answer me.
成り行きで
It just kind of turned out that way.
月曜日のことが関係しているの？
Does it have something to do with what happened Monday? Kazuki and I both nodded at the same time.
そう。
I see.
だからって同年代の女子の部屋に3日間も居座っているのは高校生としての自覚に欠けると思わない？
Do you really think it's appropriate for high school boys to stay in a girl's room for 3 whole days? Actually, yes. Actually, yes. Good point. You could tell she was the student council president because she says that she's implying that it's not. I'd like to point out just by saying this question, this is a loaded question because it assumes the answer. The assumed answer is no because you're asking if you think it's appropriate in the first place. Or was that leading or... Oh, it's... Wait, is it leading question? Yeah, leading question, right? No, leading questions have the... Leading question? Yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. Alright.
和樹に迷惑だと思わないの？
You didn't think it would bother Kazuki?
それは
Yeah, it's a loaded question, I'm pretty sure. Well. It probably did bother her, but our character didn't think about that. Kazuki's gonna protect us now. Kazuki shook her head. She was embarrassed for some reason. Evidently, she hadn't thought it was a bother.
本当に？
Really?
タクルが先輩だから遠慮しているんじゃない？
You're not just saying that because he's older than you? Kazuki kept shaking her head. She seemed to have no intention of talking.
もしかして、
Are you two maybe,
あなたたち付き合っているとか、そういうこと？
Are you dating? Is that it? Now it's Takuru's turn to speak like Frank. Both Katsuki and I shook our heads as hard as we could. I mean, well, I can understand where she got that idea.
そうなの。
I see. For some reason, Carus looked a little relieved. Carus is relieved because that means she'd lose control of you
も
for
う
5 minutes.
大丈夫なのよね。
Takuru, you're okay now, right? By okay, she probably meant what happened Monday. I was sure she'd been worried too.
大丈夫だと思う。
I'm okay, I think.
僕らを襲ってきたあの女はもう渋谷にはいないはずだから。
The woman who attacked us isn't in Shibuya anymore. Probably. I like how he's like, she could theoretically be in ESO 2, right? Right? Or dead. Of course, I didn't say that because we'd killed her.
だったら学校に出てきたら？セリカや伊藤君も心配してる。
Why not come to school? Serika and Ito are both worried.
家に一人でいるのが不安なら、青葉寮に来ればいいし。
If you're worried about being home alone, you can come to Albador. Why not tell her we were about to leave to act? We were actually going to leave today, and then you rang. It's technically true. We were going to leave, and then other things happened. Then she rang.
そういうわけにはいかない。
I can't do that.
もしかしたらあの女の狙いは最初から僕だったかもしれないんだ。
It's possible the woman was after me from the start. Even if the odds were low now, they weren't zero.
だからクルスやオノエと一緒にいると巻き込んでしまう。
If I'm with you and Onoe, I might get you involved.
青葉寮には父さんやユイやユウトもいるんだ。
Dad, Yui, Yuto are all at Albador.
カズキなら巻き込んでもいいっていうこと？
So it's okay to get Kazuki involved then?
それはカズキはすでに巻き込ん
I
でしまっ
already
たん
got her
だ。
involved.
だから
So, Maria stared at my clothes. I was right! He literally hasn't changed clothes yet. I hadn't changed out of the bloodstained shirt since Wednesday. Caruso would be really worried about that, of course.
やっぱり学校での事件はあなたたちが関係していたのね。
He spent 3 days in bloodstained clothing. Dude, they're like, I don't. Okay, we can't see it because we can't hide Caruso. There's literally a tracksuit right behind you. Change to the Russian Adidas look. Go full tracksuit. Come on, bro. That's disgusting. That's unsanitary. It's sweaty, it's blood-soaked, and it's like a week old. There's a tracksuit right there. It doesn't need to fit super well. Like, just wear it, like, or you could just take the shirt off. How about just take the shirt off? Like, take the jacket off, take the shirt off, and go without? Oh yeah, he did vomit too, right? He even threw up. Dude, take that fucking clothing off. Disgusting. I nodded.
一体何が起きたの？
What happened?
和樹は
Kazuki and I looked at one another. Kazuki quickly looked down. I need to keep her power and what we done at school on Monday a secret.
僕を助けてくれた。そのおかげで和樹まで狙われる可能性がある。
How do people get to sleep in this clothing? It's one thing to be like in a panic and passing out after the adrenaline crash. I don't know what the fuck they were doing for the next 2 days. Kazuki saved me. That means they might come after her too.
それだけしか言えない。
That's all I can say. That's
これ
all
は
I can say.
クルスや尾上たちを巻き込まないためでもあるんだ。分かってほしい。
Part of that's to keep you and the others safe. Please understand.
いつもと同じね。
Always the same story as always. Huh? Kuru smiled sadly. What?
うん、いいわ。
It's nothing.
クルス、
Kuru,
僕は
Kazuki suddenly offered us both a lollipop. There's a tracksuit right there. Please, why didn't he just change into the fucking tracksuit, man? Come on. It's been there the whole time. It's so irritating. He was trying to say that these were for us, evidently.
ありがとう。
Thanks. Also, like, they ate nothing but squid and lollipops for 3 days. Come on, guys.
まったく、セリカとは違う意味でマイペースな子ね。
She can be a little like Sarika. Chris chuckled inside, then took the lollipop she didn't put in her mouth. Didn't put it in her mouth, though. Huh? I took it, unwrapped it, and plopped it in my mouth. It tasted like strawberry. A cloyingly sweet flavor soon filled my mouth.
カズキはタクルに迷惑かけられてない？この際だから言いたいことがあれば言っていいのよ。
Kazuki, you're sure Takuru is not causing trouble for you? If there's something you want to say, you can say it.
ううん。
いいの？
You sure?
うん。
そう。
I see.
タクルはあなたにとって先輩だけど、ここはあなたの部屋なんだから、主張するところはきちんと主張していいんだからね。
I see. Takuru may be your senior at school, but this is your room. Please feel free to set ground rules.
それとカズキ、あなたお風呂入ってる？
Kazuki, are you bathing properly?
ん？
Hmm?
入ってないでしょ。タクルがいるせい？
You're not, are you? Is it because Takuru's here?
ううん。
Kazuki's face became beet red as she shook her head. It wasn't my fault. It was because she'd been playing too many video games.
私がタクルのこと見張っているから、今からシャワーだけでも浴びてくれば？
I'll keep an eye on Takuru, so why not take a shower now? Alright, so one of us is literally covered in blood. It's covered in dried blood. And she's like, he's fine. He doesn't need a shower. And she's like, you're like a lady. You haven't showered in 2 days. You need to have a shower. I'll keep going.
その後で買い出しに行ってくるわ。どうせちゃんとした食事してないでしょ。簡単なものだけど作ってあげる。
After that, I'll go shopping. You don't have any real food, right? I'll make you something simple.
タクルの着替えも必要でしょうし。
Takuru needs a change of clothes too. Yes, he does. Please, someone get him a change of
それ
clothes.
は
Oh, that would be great. He didn't order any on Amazon, though.
動いて。
He doesn't have time for that. Come on, Kazuki, let's get going. Chris practically shoved Kazuki into the bathroom. Before long, I heard the sound of falling water. Alright, positive delusion. Please, delusion time. We need the positive delusion of us stumbling into the bathroom. We're gonna get that, right? Right? This was awkward. It was awkward enough being here with Karus, but I could hear almost every sound Kazuki made as she showered.
カズキはタクルに心を開いたのかしら。
Has Kazuki opened up to you, I wonder?
セリカと違って、
No delusion. I'm
カズキ
surprised.
は誰に
I'm
対しても
surprised
壁
there's
を
no
作って
freaking
いるから。
delusion. She's not like Sarika. She puts up walls with everyone.
あの子を見ていると時々ね、新聞部に勧誘してよかったのかなって思うことがある。
Sometimes when I see her, I wonder if inviting her to join the newspaper club was a good idea.
そういえば和樹を部に連れてきたのってクルスだったな。
Yeah, come to think of it, you're the one who brought her to the club.
ええ、新学期が始まって何日か経った頃かな。
A few days after the school year started, yeah.
その日は風が強くてね、あの子一人でプリントの山を運んでいたんだけど、 それが風で飛ばされちゃって困ってた。
The wind was blowing really hard. She was carrying a huge pile of handouts, and the wind caught them and blew them away.
だから拾うのを手伝ってあげたの。
So I helped her pick them up.
でもあの通り全く喋らないでしょ。この子大丈夫かなって心配になって職員室まで私もついて行ったのよ。
She doesn't talk at all, you know? I was worried about her and went with her to the teacher's office.
そしたら和樹が何も言えないのをいいことに担任の先生から余計なことまであれこれ頼まれちゃっていて、
And then since Kazuki couldn't talk, the teacher started asking her to do all this other stuff.
和樹が断れないでいたのを見かねて口を出したの。
I got upset as how Kazuki couldn't refuse and interrupted them.
そんなことがあって部活に入っていないなら新聞部においでって誘ったんだけど、
And later I said if she wasn't in a club, she might try the newspaper club.
おとなしそうだったから部活動とか興味ないかもって思ってた。
She looked like a quiet girl, so I thought maybe she wouldn't want to be in a club.
そしたら何日かして部室にひょっこり顔を出したから私の方がびっくりしちゃった。
So when she suddenly showed up several days later, I was surprised. So that's how it happened. That's just like Karus.
でもあの子が何を考えているのかなかなかわからなくて、
But I never knew what she's thinking.
私に言われて仕方なく新聞部に入ったんだったらどうしようって今でも時々考えるの。
So I still wonder if she only joined the newspaper club because I told her to.
本人は毎日部室に来ているんだからいやいやっていうことはないと思う。
She's there every day, so I don't think she hates it. The newspaper club has the best computer in the school. What are you talking about? She literally sits there to play video games. But yeah, okay. Her main reason was probably to play video games. Yeah, see, even he knows it. He's like, she's here every day to play video games. But now I knew why Karus was more concerned about Kazuki than anyone else in the club.
和樹はきっとクルスに感謝してるんじゃないかって僕は思うよ。
I think
いや
Kazuki's
実際はわからないけれど。
grateful to you. Well, I don't know for sure, but I was mumbling and stumbling over my words because it felt like I was talking about myself.
和樹のことお願いね。
Take care of Kazuki, okay?
仲良くしてあげて。
Be your friend.
分かってるよ。
I know, we're in the
同
same
じ
club
部員
after
なん
all.
だし。
She really was nosy. That's why everyone counted on her so much as the student council president. Eito Kaichi. And then the door to the bathroom opened and Kazuki came tumbling out. EXG, excellent girl since 1999. So she's wearing the tracksuit. Alright.
ずいぶん早いわね。5分も経ってないんじゃない？
That
ち
was
ゃんと
fast.
髪洗ったの？
It hasn't even been 5 minutes. Did you wash your hair? Did you wash your hair? That's an affirmative. I'm positive that's an affirmative from Kazuki. Her hair was a little wet, and her cheeks were a little flushed from the hot shower. I could smell the pleasant scent of shampoo. Why did she look cuter than usual now that she was out of the shower? It's the shower effect. She looks cute. She copied the suit, I guess. Maybe she took it off the coat rack. If nothing else, at least she's wearing clean clothes now. Holy shit, Takuru, please.
ほら、ちゃんと髪拭きなさい。
Come on, dry your hair properly. It's not a delusion. No, no. Bruce smiled gently and started to dry Kazuki's hair with a towel. Oh no, don't do that.
そんなに慌てて出てこなくてもよかったのに。
Oh, her hair's gonna be all frizzy. Oh, that's a mess. Don't do that. You didn't need to get out so quickly. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Oh, her hair's gonna be a mess. Kazuki fidgeted as she let Karus dry her hair. And then, her stomach rumbled. That hair is way too long to be dried by running a fucking towel over it and by toweling it dry, right? Right? Am I wrong? That would be like a complete disaster if someone toweled your hair dry at that length. Complete disaster, I swear. Nono should know that too. Her hair's long as fuck. How does Nono not know you don't just like towel your hair dry? Both Karus and I burst out laughing. Like Karus should know that. Like, the longer your hair is, the more of a mess it is to towel dry. Because you towel dry that long hair, and it's a fucking disaster until you wash it again. Karus and I burst
お
out
腹空い
laughing.
たのね。いいわ。タクルの着替えも取りに行かなきゃいけないし、ついでに買い出しも行ってくる。
You're hungry, okay? Well, I gotta do some shopping. Get some closer to Kiru. I'll get that while I'm in.
食べたいものある？
Is there something you want to eat?
うん。
何でもいいのね。
Anything's okay, right? For some reason, Kazuki got on the ground and bowed in gratitude. About an hour later, Karus came back and made us a simple meal. The table was lined up with fried ginger pork, tofu, and onion miso soup, and a spinach salad. Yeah, like, you need a hair dryer for, like, longish hair like this. Otherwise, it's like a complete mess. You need a hair dryer, or let it naturally air dry. If you're like me and lazy as fuck, and you don't want to spend 15 minutes with a hair dryer, or you don't own one anymore. Yeah. Towel is a disaster for hair though. Like, the minute it's above like 3 inches long, it's like, no, it's like hair dryer. Go hair dryer. Or it's just gonna be like a giant ball of frizz all day. Feel like your hair is just gonna be a complete disaster. If I have hair that's like as long or slightly longer than Kazuki's, it can't be dried with a towel. You can dry it with a towel, but it's going to look terrible. You kind of want to just like get most of the water out and be like, yeah, that's close enough. You know, pat it a little bit and then move on. Right. So she comes back with a meal: fried ginger pork, tofu and onion miso soup, spinach
本当に簡
salad.
単に作ったものだから味は保証できないけど。
I have some really simple recipes, so I can't guarantee it'll be good. I knew exactly how good at cooking Karus was. Until recently, she cooked for me every day. And Karus was best at simple dishes like these. He'd made several of them in the blink of an eye.
うん。
Kazuki was looking at Karus's face to see if it was okay to eat.
どうぞ。
Go right ahead.
うん。
Kazuki put her hands together and bowed her head. She might not say anything, but she had good table manners. She took a bite of the ginger pork. After just one bite, her face broke into a grin. I didn't know if I'd ever seen Kazuki smile like that before. It felt like I was seeing something really rare. She hadn't eaten any real food for the past 2 days and normally only ate lollipops and dried squid. Karusa's cooking must have been a fucking feast for
気
her.
に入ってくれたみたいね。よかった。
You liked it? I guess I'm glad.
タクルも食べなさい。 育
I
ち
guess
盛
if
り
you
の
liked it,
男
I
の
guess
子なんだか
I'm
ら。
glad, but... Man. You eat too, Takuru. You're a growing boy. She was in her big sister mode now. But for now, I would be the obedient little brother. My top priority at the moment was filling my stomach. There are literal stars in her eyes. Kazuki was staring at Karus as if in a trance, a small piece of ginger pork still sticking out of the side of her mouth. I'd already learned from Cool Cat Press what that expression meant. It was the look of a woman in love. Wait. Did Kazuki like girls? No. There's no way. He's probably just looking up to Karus because she's older. Was it Sariko who told me girls in puberty were like that a lot?
ちょっとカズキ、ぼーっとしてないで、ちゃんと噛んで食べなさい。
Kazuki, stop spacing out and chew your food.
それと、肘をつかない。お行儀悪いわよ。
Get your elbows off the table. It's bad manners.
うん。
Hey, Karus. Kazuki is grateful to you for asking her to join the newspaper club. I'd been with her the whole time over the past 3 days, and finally I was starting to feel like I understood her. The disaster struck Shibuya 2 days after that. Oh? The two of us were watching the afternoon news when they suddenly switched to a live broadcast near Shibuya Station. A young female reporter was leading a cameraman up the twisty, thin street that ran from the station to the Dogenzaka. The text on the screen said, mysterious object appears in Shibuya. What is it?
私は今、
渋谷駅から徒歩3分ほどのところにある路地に来ているのですが。
I'm here on a street. That's a 3-minute walk from Shibuya Station.
ご覧ください。あの謎の物体。
Look at this mysterious object. Wait, a second one? The reporter pointed to a 1-meter tall object that was floating at the end of the street. Both Kazuki and I recognized it at once. Why is there a second ESO teleporter? Is someone gonna touch it? We'd seen it ourselves just a few days before.
ポータル装置。
A portal device. Naturally, it would let... So, this is like a portal in an MMO, so naturally this gives you an interface and lets you teleport to any of them and doesn't fucking kill you. But I assume someone's gonna die when they touch it. Portal device. Kazuki looked shocked. Her gaze was frozen on the TV screen. What the hell's going on? There's no way the portal device could be on a street near the station. We'd seen it on top of the school.
この物体は今朝になって匿名の通報があり発見されたものということなんですが。
This object was discovered after an anonymous call this morning. Interesting. The young reporter moved in front of the device and continued to speak.
警察が詳しく調査中ということで、このように周囲一帯に規制が張られています。
The police, after a thorough investigation, have blockaded the area.
警察の話では爆弾の可能性もあるということなんですが。
The police say it might be a bomb. The police are really bad at Google. So let me explain. This would be like the funniest thing ever. It's like you report this on live television, and 5 minutes later, you have someone be like, "You fucking idiot! It's a portal device. What the fuck are you doing?" I mean, it theoretically kills people. What we've seen, it kills people. So it's not actually a teleporter, but it's like it's designed after a portal device in a fucking video game. How did the cops not find this out after like an entire day of research? It might be a bomb.
こうしてみますと、とても綺麗な形をしています。
But it looks very pretty, don't you think?
ぼーっと光っていてすごく幻想的です。夜暗くなってから見てみたいなって。
It's glowing with this
個人的には思うわ
strange,
けなんですけれ
dreamy
ども
light. I'd love to see what it looks like at night, personally.
不思議なのはあの物体、支柱のようなものがどこにも見当たらないということなんです。
Who knows how the fuck magnets work, man? What's particularly odd is that there doesn't seem to be anything supporting it. Magnets, I'm
どうや
guessing.
ら空中にふわふわと浮かんでいるらしいのですが、一体どういう原理でそうなっているのか。
It just appears to be floating in the air. How does it do that?
おい、なんだあ
Hey,
れ。
what's that? The cameraman on TV show was never supposed to speak, but this one did. The reporter stopped talking and turned around to face the portal device. The camera showed that it was changing. The horrible device was starting to emit a golden light.
ご覧ください。物体が先ほどよりもずっと、これは、
The object is it's shining brighter than before.
見えます。
It's a bomb!
何があったのでしょうか。現場は騒然となっています。
What happened? The scene's in an uproar. Oh, I get it. She said, I get what happened. If this explodes and kills people, I understand what happened. If it explodes and kills people, what happens is the reporter gave every single person the communicable delusion that that image was going to fucking explode and kill everyone near it. If that's what happens. If it just emits if it just vomits out Rika, I'd also understand that.
離れて、危ないから。
Get back, it's dangerous, get back! And guess what the police saying this does? Amusingly enough, the police saying this also reinforces it exploding. Let's see. A police officer's telling us to get back. Due to the way this delusion works, the fact that the police are spreading misinformation about it being dangerous is super fucking dangerous. If it explodes, I actually think that would be funny. Please explode.
やばくね。
This is bad, isn't it?
でも、とて
It's
も
so pretty.
綺麗
Let's
じゃ
go
ない
take
で
a
すか。
closer look.
行きましょう。
いや、
Wait, no. The reporter gave a signal to the cameraman and started to walk towards the device. I gulped as I waited to see what would happen next. It's not a good idea to get close to that, I said in my mind. Of course, no matter what I said here, the reporter on screen couldn't hear me.
この物体、一体どういう
Please,
原理で光
use
ってい
the
るのでしょう
delusion that it moves you to the school, you papegas! Come on, what do you suppose is making it shine like that?
よく見るとこれ、細かい光の粒が物体の周囲を渦
When you
巻
look
いています
closer, you can see tiny particles of light swirling around. It's like art.
あ、光の粒がゆっくり集まりつつあります。
Oh, the particles are coming together. That's so pretty.
昔の SF 映画などにあったホログラム映像っていうん でしょうか。
It's like one of those things you see in old sci-fi. What do you call them? Holograms? Come again? Old movies? Like, you mean modern movies, right? Modern movies fucking love holographic tech.
この形は何かの動物を表現しようとしているのでしょうか。
Is this shape supposed to be some kind of animal? Maybe it's a dinosaur? How has nobody fucking told any of these people that this is like an item from a video game? How the fuck is that possible? Is this like the most obscure MMO on the planet? The reporter was as chipper as ever. She was speaking the same way she'd do a food report at a local restaurant. I could see death flags popping up everywhere. I had a bad feeling. And I couldn't help but remember the last look on the woman's face before she disappeared a few days ago. If that object on the screen was the same thing. It's a portal device that may or may not operate if people believe it works like a portal device. And she's never given them. Oh, this is gonna go badly. Alright. This reporter was gonna disappear as well. I looked away, not wanting to see it. I could hear the reporter raise her voice in surprise. I looked back at the monitor. I think
No.
What? What? I wasn't expecting that one! And I saw a monster I'd never seen before. I thought I'd switched the channel somehow, but I could see the reporter on the same screen as the monster. At first I thought it was CG. That's how unreal it seemed. It looked like a fucking dinosaur. Its skin was bright red, its legs were as big as a human torso. I'd like to repeat, hold up. Is this shape supposed to be an animal or maybe a dinosaur? She literally made it like some kind of weird dinosaur monster. It had giant wings on its back. Its wicked looking black horns bent inwards towards its jaw, and there were 5 golden orbs like jewels shining on its forehead. I couldn't see any eyes where you might expect them to be. Even on 4 legs, it was over twice the height of a human, and there were fangs in its huge mouth. So is this a creature from ESO 2, or is this like a gestalt, like a fucking or amalgamation, like what everyone combined imagined a creature coming out of this when she said a dinosaur animal or something taking shape. They were like, okay, it's gonna be like some giant demon. It's gonna have fucking it's gonna have big ass teeth. It's gonna have 4 limbs. It's gonna have wings. It's gonna have horns. It's gonna have like a fucking something in its center. Like, I don't know. I'm curious to see what ends up with. There's fangs in its mouth. Particles of light came together to form the monster, and the TV camera had captured every second of it. It wasn't CG. It was unreal, and the monster was moving too. Run. I whispered without even thinking of what I was doing. Dude, Takuru, you'd be frozen like this too. The reporter was getting excited instead. What kind of magic is going on here? This big lizard dinosaur appeared right out of nowhere. It's huge and moving. It's like the real thing. I'm not really sure how it... rip? Rest in peace, the reporter. Damn, alright. Nom nom. That is, that's a little bit unfortunate. It's okay, though. TV, this wouldn't happen on live TV, because live TV has like a 10-second delay at bare minimum. But because reasons we're seeing it. There's a reason there's a delay on television, by the way. Nothing's ever live. There's a delay on just about everything on TV, so people can't do really obscene stuff. Especially on, like, this is Tokyo News, so it's not like a small news channel. It ate her. The reporter had gone close to it, and it had swallowed her head in one bite. Kazuki suddenly gave a start and screamed. The monster finished gnawing on the reporter's head, then grabbed the headless body in its mouth and shook it violently. The cameraman screamed and the video shook violently too. Again, what? Who the fuck is running this? So the cameraman isn't the person who determines whether the broadcast is being fed to anyone. There's a van somewhere behind them where there's people in that deciding to keep running this footage. And those people have like 10 seconds to recover, and they're still too stupid to do that. This is why gore is never shown on television. Like, even if you have a live broadcast, you can't get gore on television, because there's a 10-second delay, and if they're like, oh, we just saw someone's head get blown off, instantly kill the feed. He must have thrown down the camera and ran. The image was a fixed shot of the monster's legs and the bloody head lying on the ground. But you know what? I'm okay with this. For cinematic purposes, it's kind of cool. It's like, we needed an excuse for us to have like a view of this without being in any actual danger. So I'm actually okay with them doing this, even if it's like super unrealistic. So, giant monster. And then? It roars. Of course it roars. The monster roared. Its thick legs started to move. It kicked the woman's head away. And then apparently stepped on the camera since the video cut out. Then the TV switched back to showing the studio where the newscasters and commentators were pale and sickly looking. Soon the image changed to a picture of a field of flowers with the message, "Please stand by." This was a nightmare. And that is probably not how news anchors would respond to that. They would probably almost immediately being told, well, we're gonna get onto this. News anchors would typically misdirect here, I think. They definitely wouldn't kill the feed. They definitely wouldn't kill their broadcast. They would misdirect to a new story. Or an existing story. Typically they use misdirection to pull your attention away when something bad happens. That's why sometimes you have things getting interrupted. Oh well. That was a live broadcast, right? I mean, all of it really happened. Kazuki was covering her mouth with her hands and shaking. Her eyes were fixed on the TV screen. What was that? Kazuki slowly turned towards me. But she was too shocked to speak. So, the monster spawn. So, is it from ESO? I'm curious if the monster's from ESO. He was too shocked to speak. What was that? Is it an ESO monster? I ran over to her and started to shake her shoulders. Dude, why are you... Oh yeah, he panics easily, never mind. She forced out the words with tears in her eyes. A flame arc dragon? Maybe? It's an ESO2 monster. Now, okay, so now I'm like not positive. So why does the monster spawn? If those are the player portal devices, why does the monster spawn from there? That doesn't make sense. I think it's the I think the reason the monster spawn... It's a flame monster. It might have transfigured Rika? Might have transfigured Rico into the Arc Flame Dragon? Or Flame Arc Dragon, my bad. It might have transfigured her, maybe? I'm trying to figure out why it would vomit a monster. Like, if it's the player portal device, if it's like the player's portal op item, like the player portal, you're like in like Final Fantasy, you have like the fucking crystal shards, the Aethernet shards that you just touch them and teleport. I'm thinking that's what one of these teleport nodes is. So why would it vomit monsters? It vomits monsters because people's shared delusion was that it could be a monster. First it was a bomb, then it was a monster as the lady got closer, and she was positive. She's like, oh, it could be a monster instead, and people got a monster instead. Maybe that's why it did that? Either way, this could have very easily been something insanely useful if only the police and literally every single person on TV weren't completely retarded. Could you imagine being like, oh, it's an ESO2 portal. It's an ESO2 portal, and it seems to be floating in midair. Wow, this is a really high quality prop. and you sit there, and then like Rika just pops out of it, and you're like, holy shit, it's a working teleporter? No way, that's got to be a hologram, right? And then Elder Scrolls Online 2. Yeah, exactly. Elder Scrolls Online 2. Like, that'd be amazing, right? Then suddenly there's like a fully functional teleporter in real life, but instead they were like, it's a bomb. Oh, it's spawning a monster, and that's how we get fucking monsters. Oh, that's so dumb. Literally a result of people being idiots. But I mean, that's why Hannah doesn't talk, right? Because people are fucking stupid and turn perfectly reasonable stuff into the most banana stuff you've ever seen.
レアモンスターだけど序盤から出てくるから変数2のユーザーじゃ有名かも。
It's a rare monster, but you see it at the start of the game, so every ESO2 player knows it. Maybe.
それって
That
つま
means...
り
Yeah, but why is it coming out of the portal? Monsters don't come out of portals. That should be like pretty obvious logic, so why would they envision the monster instead of envisioning a person coming out of it? Or a player? Like, what would you imagine coming out of... I would imagine, if there was like an Aethernet shard floating around, I would imagine a player just spawning near it and being like, oh, what the fuck, a player? I wouldn't imagine a raid boss spawning in front of it. I'd be like, what the fuck is a raid boss doing in front of a shard? That doesn't happen.
私の妄
My
想
delusions are still...
まだ
Yeah, your delusions are still functional because people are stupid. I wouldn't feel guilty about this as well.
反響
There's still echo.
続いてるんだ。
So a fictional monster appeared in reality, but Kazuki didn't make any kind of wish like that Monday night. So where did it come from? Had the words she'd said changed somehow? Kazuki can't control her own powers. The television reporter said it was a monster. A dinosaur-like monster. That's literally what she said verbatim, and two people imagined... Okay, so here's what happens. Here's what happens. The portal device exists, and the woman walks up there being a complete fucking idiot normie, and it's like, oh, the lights are pretty. What's this? A dinosaur, a monster, a dinosaur, an animal, and every single person. This is what probably happened. So she did that, and the ESO2 players, presumably, because it's like, you know, they get the average of what the ESO2 player expects to find, and since a lot of people drop MMOs early on, they all get the most common monster they saw, or like the most memorable monster they saw, which was this creature. That's what I'm assuming happened. Basically, the stupid television broadcast shaped what was happening with the portal, and instead of like Rika showing up, or instead of it being a functional portal device, it's now a monster spawner. Which is like 10 out of 10 news reporter. Not only did you not know what the fuck you were supposed to know, what the fuck you were looking at while you were reporting on it, but you also caused it to be something else. But I mean, she couldn't have known that would reshape things because she doesn't know that. Still, like, it's like bad reporting leads to bad results. I don't actually feel too bad for Kazuki, although I don't feel like Kazuki did anything wrong. I feel bad for her because things she did that were perfectly harmless were made harmful by other people. Which is pretty brutal. It's like, you make something that tries to help. Like, imagine if she intentionally made a portal. Like, she makes a portal and people are like, it's a disintegration wall. And suddenly it starts killing people. You'd be like, are you fucking serious? I made a fully functional portal that could take you from Japan to Europe in 1 second. And you're like, it's a disintegration wall, so now it kills everybody who touches it. Are you fucking serious? Like, I'd be pissed and I'd be sad because my thing just killed a ton of people. Like, I can understand crying when you're like, I made something to help people or something that was relatively harmless and now it's killing a shit ton of people because they don't understand what it is. Kazuki can't control her own powers. I remembered what Nightheart had said and shuddered. A minute later, I booted up ESO2 and saw what Nightheart had logged in as well. I decided to talk to him immediately. Again, they're in talk and not in party chat. Did you see the news this afternoon on Fujisan TV? Not in real time. I saw what got uploaded to the net later. 2chan's having a fucking festival. Things are gonna go the way they did 6 years ago. Remember the DQN puzzle? Read the wiki. He wasn't doing... Ooh, we're gonna get a reference to DQN puzzle. That's fun. We haven't talked about that at all in this game. And again, I'm still amused. She logs in. Look at the buffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She logged in with 10 buffs passively. And she's like in the open world at an odd level of level 53. Also, I just noticed that the characters and the grass are animated. Our character's been here the whole time, but I didn't notice that. I don't think the grass was moving the previous time. I swear. I swear there wasn't this much movement on it last time. He is enjoying all this. What an asshole. But I guess I was the same when I was following the return of the New Generation Madness with the newspaper club. Jokes aside, that news broadcast was bad news. This isn't just about Shibuya anymore. The committee might take action. Who? The Committee of 300. You know them? No. Basically, the vast organization that controls the world from the shadows. Sounds like bullshit. 100% agree. But it exists anyway, and they might take action. It might be a war, possibly. A war? I don't know what you mean. You might be happy or not knowing. I'll look into it on my side. If something comes up, I'll tell you. What are the chances it's because of Katsuki's power? The hell else could it be? You saw that portal device. Yeah. Just so we're sure, the portal device didn't move. This is a second one, right? Yes, I had a friend go look for me. It was still there. Gotcha. Do you think it's possible we'll see the woman who attacked us again? You mean she might not really be dead? I get it. You're seriously thinking she might have been sent to another portal device? No. Isn't it possible that the second portal device that appeared on Monday night and we just didn't notice it? I know I said I was sure she was dead before because there was only one portal, but even if there were two, I can't imagine her surviving a teleport. If you could actually reboot something like that, it would be the greatest discovery in human history. I'd want it for myself, but that monster doesn't exist either, and it's out there. Oh, got me. A flame arch dragon that ate the reporter ate a cop after that. How does he not understand this? If it can make a dragon, it should be able to make a portal device. She might still be alive. I'm with her. Why not go look then? I'm thinking it ate her for energy or something. Find out how many portal devices appeared in Shibuya. Find out if anything else beside the Flame Arch Dragon rebooted. Oh, I can't help, by the way. I got a grind in ESO too. Weren't you supposed to look into the Committee of 300? Obviously. I'm trying to end things with a gag so it wouldn't get too serious. If the committee intervenes, it's gonna get bad real fast. So I'm gonna spend my time on that. Tell Kazuki there's no need to play ESO 2 for a while, lol. You suck. I think that last one is Kazuki. This one is actually Kazuki typing, right? That's actually a very creative emoji. A vast conspiracy that controls the... I like how he just casually is like, oh, the committee. Yeah, those guys, they're just the Illuminati. No big deal. Vast conspiracy that controls the world from the shadows? That sounds like fucking bullshit. Even movies don't have plots like that these days. Since there was nothing I could do about it, I leave it to Neidhart. What was more important to us was the portal device. Investigated, huh? Dude, I'm liking this route. It's so good. There's so much to think about in this route. Yes, the Illuminati. Yes, the committee is basically the Illuminati, and they are CERN's. They are the parent organization of CERN from Steins Gate. CERN is another subgroup, much like whatever the fuck was doing Gigalomaniac experimentations in Shibuya. Kazuki was looking angrily at the log of my conversation with Neidhart. I gritted my teeth too. Even if we did investigate the portal device, what were we supposed to do then? If it was created by Katsuki, would we be able to destroy it or get rid of it? What you need to do is tell people. What you need to do is tell people that it's not actually a monster spawner. It's actually a portal device, and that it's shaped by people's beliefs in it. Or actually, the smart thing would be to tell people that they're wrong, that it's actually a portal device, and that there's a second portal elsewhere. Tell people it's a portal device, so that they know that it doesn't kill people or spawn monsters, and it'll stop spawning monsters if it spawns more than one. But I'm curious about the Flame Arch Dragon. I was thinking, my first thought when I saw it was like, it transfigured her into that, but I'm not sure that's the case. It was created by... Okay, we already said that. Oh, that's part of what we're investigating, right? Even if she couldn't control her powers, it was Kazuki who created it. She couldn't pretend to ignore it. There's even a dragon running around now. More people could die. I guess we don't have a choice, right? We might get attacked out of nowhere like we were before. That's why I hadn't wanted to leave, but I wasn't tough enough to just leave something that dangerous out there and hide in here forever. It's a dragon. They got tanks. Ran to Harajuku and got a cell phone so I'd be able to keep in touch with the others, and then called Sarika after school. I like how in this route, it's literally half a sentence. I ran to Harajuku and got a cell phone, so blah 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 blah. That's what he does. That's how fast he can get a cell phone. He's like, fuck it, I need a phone, let's go. Yo, what's up, Taku? You like coming to school? Too bad, it's closed after lunch.
休校
Closed it?
渋谷が封鎖されちゃったでしょ。だから学校も
Shibuya was sealed off, right? So they closed the school too.
そうか。お前は今どこにいる？
ラックス
I
だよ。
see. Where are you now? Shibuya?
お茶してるよ。こっちの方は封鎖されてないから。
At LAX, this place isn't sealed off.
ちょうどよかった。頼みたいことがある。
I need your fucking help. I told her I wanted to know how many portal devices appeared in Shibuya.
私は別に手伝ってもいいけど。
I don't mind helping, but...
なんだよ。
What?
のんちゃんが危ないことはやめなさいって今目の前でプンプンしてる。
No one's in front of me, and she's telling you not to do anything dangerous.
今すぐ電話変われっていう無言のプレッシャーをビシビシ受
I
け
can
てるよ。
feel this silent pressure telling me to put her on the phone.
そうか。
I see. So Karus was with her too. Of course, I can understand why she'd be so mad. Just like Sarika had said after the shocking incident on the news this afternoon, the police had sealed off Shibuya over the course of a few hours. Why aren't they evacuating it? The number of people on the streets was dropping fast. Supposedly, the National Diet was holding a debate about bringing in the Self-Defense Force. Of course, they still hadn't gotten rid of the portal devices. Poor the dragon. Chris probably wanted to tell me there was nothing an amateur like me could do. This wasn't like the other investigations the newspaper club had done. I glanced over at Kazuki. She was looking down silently.
こんなこと言っても信じてもらえないかもしれないけれど、あの化け物が出てきたの、僕と和樹のせいかもしれないんだ。
Oh, why is he saying it like that? This guy's so bad at phrasing shit. Oh, it's so bad. You're like, fuck. I can't save this guy. This guy is too stupid to be saved. He just phrases things in like literally the worst possible way. You may not believe this, but that monster that showed up might be being Kazuki's fault. How is it your fault? It doesn't make sense. Stop being stupid. What do you mean? Oh, why would you say that? That's so dumb.
詳しくは話せない。とにかく調査の目的は単なる好奇心じゃ
I
ない。
swear to God, if this ends with him being executed by the police for killing tons of people via dragon, I'm gonna be a little bit I'm gonna be laughing, but I'm also gonna be irritated. I can't talk much about it. Just know that we're not doing this because we're curious.
あの装置とモンスターを何とかして消すための方法を見つけたいんだ。
I want to find a way to get rid of that monster and those devices.
そっか。
I see. Guess that wasn't enough to persuade her. Or so I thought.
オッケー。のんちゃんは
Okay.
私が説得す
I'll
る。
persuade Non.
本当か
Oh, really?
それとしんちゃんも連絡欲しがってたから協力お願いしてみたらきっと喜ぶと思うよ。
Oh, and Shin really wanted you to call him. Why not ask him for help? I'm sure he'd love it.
ああ、そうだな。
Oh, yeah, I'll
連
try.
絡してみる。
で、タクは花ちゃんと一緒？そっちは二人で行動するの？
So, are you gonna stay with Hannah? Are the two of you going to work together?
ああ、そうするつもり。
Yeah, that's the plan.
じゃあ、私は深センから渋谷駅の方へ向かってみようかな。のんちゃんとお散歩デート。
Alright, maybe I'll go from Shinsen towards Shibuya Station. I can have a walking date with Non.
頼む。
Thanks.
ただし、もしポータル装置を見つけても、絶対に近づいちゃダメだからな。
If you find a portal device, make sure you stay away from it.
オッケー。
Surely you could just go to Instagram or Twitter or whatever and look up ESO portal device or some shit. Oh wait, people don't know it's a portal device because they're too stupid. And we haven't checked the internet. This is the one time checking the internet would actually be helpful in this story. Half the time our character is wasting his time on the internet, being like, feeling superior about people because he knows more than them. This is the one time actually doing research would be really helpful. Like, if you went to like 2chan and looked up the portal devices, thought what they were talking, they might actually be like, I found one in this at this junction in this street, and you just start like taking a record of where they are, and like I'm sure because it's like 2chan at channel is like 4chan. I'm sure there's some well, they self-declare as autists, so I'm gonna call them an autist. Some autists, I'm sure, are like, I need to know where all these fucking ESO portal devices are, and they've already found out that they're ESO portal devices, obviously, because, you know, that's what people do when they're bored. They're like, we're gonna find out where all of these are, get people to take pictures of them, identify the locations, put them into Google Maps. I'm sure someone's already doing it. And if not, that's gonna be you. If not, that should be you getting the internet to be like, ooh, I wonder how many of these there are. You know, you post something like, I got a picture of one. There's one on the school roof. There's one on the school roof at Hekiho. I saw it from an angle and I snuck into the school. And you're like, just move on from there and get like, I wonder which other ones are, and have like 10 other people post, right? Wouldn't that be super useful? You could use the power of the internet to get your information, so you could record where they all were. Alas, our character seems to be first thinking of going in on foot, which is kind of risky, but hey. I'm not going to judge super hard. He's kind of a dumbass.
それと日が暮れる前には家に帰るようにしてくれ。
Be back home before sunset. Tokaru's that too.
Okay.
Okay.
本当に分かってるの
You
か
really understand? You got a bad habit of doing whatever you feel like
住んでいく
sometimes.
ところがあるからな。
そうかな。
Do I? Maybe I do.
でもほら、私ってコソコソするの得意だし、誰にも見つからない自信あるよ。
Eureka's probably liking this. For sure her murder plot's been thrown off the rails for this other weird thing, but hey, this is cool too. You know, I'm good at being sneaky. I'm sure no one will find me.
それは知ってるけれど、とにかく注意して行動してくれよ。
I know that, but just be careful.
OK。じゃあ報告は明日ってことでいいかな。
I'll report in tomorrow.
学校は明日も休みだっけ？だったら昼頃に部室に集合しよう。
I guess school's off tomorrow too, isn't it? Let's all meet up at the club room around noon. Okay. After I finished giving my instructions to Sarika, I made the same call to Ito. When I asked for his help, he was a little too eager to agree. He seemed like he'd been really bored the last few days. The frustration had been building up, he'd said, so I had him head north from Ebisu Tower towards Shibuya Station. Once I finished telling him everything he needed to know, I hung up. Oh, we got two people looking.
カズキ、僕らも行こう。
Kazuki, it's time for us to go too. This is the outside of the dorms. Not bad. It probably could have hidden. From Nono, at least. And let's see. It looks like we were on the second floor. I'd guess our characters were on the second floor of these dorms. I think you could have survived a fall and escaped out the... Like, let's think about this. Your character... Okay, let's think. It looks like the concrete is about, like... 6 inches. The concrete's probably about 6 inches thick. You'd hang down from the railing or from that ledge. It's probably about waist high, so you'd have like maybe your thighs downwards or maybe your knees downwards. You'd be like falling about 7 feet to get to the ground. That's doable. You could escape out the front door, out the balcony like that. You probably can't climb it very well, but you can escape out of it. We decided to head from the dorm to the station, checking every back street and alley we found along the way. The first thing we did was head for the school. It was dead silent. There wasn't a single car. Not only were there no Hekiho students, there weren't even any pedestrians. Had Shibuya ever been this empty at any time since the quake? 6 years ago, there'd been rubble everywhere, and I'd felt so alone that as I'd faced what seemed like the end of the world. But this seemed different. It didn't seem lonely, it seemed strange. Town was still pristine, but all the people were gone. It was like a ghost town. All the stops had their shutters lowered. They'd closed for the day, it seemed. Everyone had run off as fast as they could. It made sense after what they'd seen on live TV. We tried to pay as much attention to our surroundings as possible as we headed forward. We were especially careful with the intersections. Another monster like that dragon could come rushing out of the shadows at any instant. If we ran into one of them, we wouldn't stand a chance. So where is it now? Surely you could find it. It's huge. It's huge. It should be making noise as it moves. I hear the faint sound of someone yelling into a microphone in the distance. Shibuya area is extremely dangerous at this time. Please stay indoors and evacuate to the designated safe zones. Oh, so they are evacuating the whole district. Good call. Good call, policeman. Good call, police. I could see a patrol car in the distance moving slowly. There was probably an officer inside the car using his microphone to urge people to evacuate. The car was slowly heading towards us. Dude, hide during an alley. If we stayed out here, the police would tell us we had to leave Shibuya. That would be the end of our investigation.
和樹こっちだ。
Kazuki, this way. There's like 20 alleys. Just go down a side street, man. I ducked down a narrow alleyway so the car wouldn't find us. I felt like a criminal running from the police. Of course, if the portal device's appearance really was our fault, maybe that wasn't totally wrong. You know you could call Shinjo and tell him this, right? He believes in psychics. Or tell literally anybody. And be like, tell Kuno Sato and be like, yo, they're actually ESO2 portal devices. We think they're shaped by people, what their effect is actually shaped by people's belief in them. Kuno Sato is actually K. She can heavily influence the news. Come on. There's like so much you could do for this. We ran left and right through the maze of alleyways and finally came out in front of the Parku. And there's another portal device there. I gasped at what I saw there and quickly hid in the shadows. Kazuki wasn't as quick as I was, so I grabbed her hand and pulled. I ended up pulling her tightly up against my body with my arms around her. Ooh. Steamy. Sorry. I quickly let her go. Kazuki didn't seem bothered by it. She just adjusted her glasses. Did you see it? This time I quietly popped my head out to take a look. There was another portal device in front of the Parku, and around it were 3 monsters. One was yellow and black. Was it a different colored version of the one that had eaten the reporter? Now that I saw it up close, I was astonished at its size. The others were 2-legged giants covered in thick white fur, a little less than 3 meters tall, their arms as thick as tree trunks. Fortunately, none of them seemed to have noticed us. So, now there's multiple monsters spawning out of these portal devices, so the first one gave the impetus to other people that ESO2 monsters actually spawn out of these, and they're not normal portal devices. And now we got like a pack of monsters everywhere. Great. So you could try and win this via mass media control, which is going to be really hard now because some idiot on live television made them spawn monsters. Or, yeah, I don't know what you do next. Gotta destroy them, I guess. Fortunately, none of them noticed us. We're not dead.
Poison Arc Dragon と Snow Lich が2体
A poison archdragon and 2 snow liches. Archdragon? Probably it's archdragon, right? Archdragon. It's not a curved dragon. It's not holding stones. It's archdragon. Alright. They're both ESO2 monsters? Katsuki nodded. It really did feel like I was looking at a computer model. It didn't seem real. Can you imagine a monster with the... Can you imagine playing like... Not like some modern, like playing like Morrowind and having a monster straight out of Morrowind spawn into real life? You'd be like, what the fuck? This looks terrible. Like, oh wow, what the fuck is this skin texture? It's like it's 5 pixels by 5 pixels. Like a repeating skin texture that's like 5 pixels. That's like a meter wide. It looked terrible. It kind of stinks. I smelled something kind of rotten. It was a stinging stench that hung in the air, hung in the nose. I could see several red lumps around the feet of the monsters. I looked closely to see what they were and quickly realized they had once been human, and now they were just bloody lumps of flesh. They had been crushed, torn apart, and left there. It was more than 1 or 2 people. There were at least 10 of them lying on the ground. When the number of portal devices had increased, so had the number of victims. Only then did I realize the stench was coming from the corpses. It was so awful I wanted to throw up. I'd seen the reporter die on the news today. It had been a shock, but it also felt like seeing a movie. It hadn't seemed real. But this smell was different. It was all too real. It told me what I was seeing was real before my brain had even started to process it. But I couldn't just stand here in shock. I needed to continue my investigation.
これで現実化したポータル装置は3つ目だ。
That's the 3rd portal we've seen. Which meant it was safe to assume there was a 4th and maybe a 5th. How many of them were we going to find? Ito might be fine, but what about Sarika and Karus? Maybe asking them for help was a mistake. I hadn't realized Shibuya was so dangerous.
あれを消す方法あると思う。
Is there any way to get rid of them, you think?
うーん
Kazuki shook her head helplessly.
消せればそれが一番いいかもだけど
It would be best if we could get rid of them. Maybe.
わかんない
I don't know.
これまではどうだったんだ。
What have you done before?
これまでにも和樹が現実化してしまったものはあったはずだろう。
You've made other things real before, right?
そういうのはその後どうなった？現実化したままずっと存在し続けているのか、それとも何かのタイミングで消えたのか。
What happened with them? Did they keep existing or did they suddenly disappear at some point? For some reason, Kazuki smiled. Their smile was a mix of sadness and resignation. It was the only answer I needed. She seemed to be saying that there was no way we'd be lucky enough they'd just disappear.
だったら渋谷はずっとこのままなのか。
Then, is Shibuya gonna be like this forever? That's right, our world's slowly gonna turn into ESO 2! Suddenly I heard the faint noise of a car engine behind me, just as I spun around. I heard the roar of a beast drown it out. I looked down the hill and...
おいおい。
Ah, shit. I saw a patrol car barreling towards us at top speed. Behind were 5 or so monsters storming after it. Ah, this guy's fucked.
なんだよあれ。
What's that? There were other monsters? They weren't just wandering around near the portal device, but moving around the city? All 5 of them were the same types as the one near the portal device. 3 hairy giants and 2 were
っていう
dragons.
かこっちに来る。
Wait, they're headed this way. And they were pretty fast too. Even the cop car couldn't shake them off. Wait, that meant the cop car was bringing the monsters to us. Get off the fucking street.
円数と同じトレイン行為やるプレイヤーはク
It's
ズ
like ESO. Anyone who trains is a jerk or a fucking idiot. I assume you mean, let's see. Game jargon. Used in Morphigas in games where monsters attempt to attack a player or comes in a certain distance, it's possible to move out of the monster's attack radius, causing it to follow you. Multiple monsters can be gathered in this manner, causing them to form a train behind the player. It's called training. Sometimes the player simply panics and trains by accident, but it's often done deliberately. There are many reasons someone might decide to do it, but because it can cause nearby players to be caught in a fight against a large number of monsters, it's considered BM by most players. Yep. So the idiot cops are gonna dump a fuck ton of mob sack on top of them. That's great. Thanks, assholes. I hate when people do that. I hate when people do that. That cop deserves... And that cop dumps those monsters off on us, he deserves to die. Oh well. He only deserves to die. The cop only deserves to die because he's dumping them off on people in real life. If it's in the video game, he just deserves to die in the video game. 10 times. We want to waste his time as much as he wastes our time. More than he wastes our time. I didn't know it was a common thing that people did, but I understood the nuance.
隠れよう。やり過ごすんだ。
Hide, let them pass by us. I pulled Kazuki by the hand and ran down the stairs toward a shop that sold grilled beef tongue. Good. At the bottom of the stairs was the entrance to the store, but all the lights were off inside. We'd hide inside and wait for them to pass. I couldn't see what was going on inside from here. My only option was to rely on sound. I could hear the sound of the police car and the sounds of the monster's footsteps shaking the earth. Kazuki gripped my hand tight. I think we're safe. If they'd already found us, just imagining it made me shiver. I didn't think those huge monsters could fit down the tiny stairs, but was hiding down here a good idea? There was nowhere to run. Kazuki and I instinctively clutched each other tightly, holding our breath and concentrating on sounds inside. Good news, you can accidentally use your telekinesis to open locks, so this is a pretty safe place. I could hear the squeal of tires as the patrol car turned down the intersection in front of us. The monsters howled again. The earth shook even more violently. Please don't notice us. All I could do was pray. The sounds got further away. I couldn't hear the police car either.
やり過ごせた
Are they gone?
か。
うん。
助かった。
Saved.
うん。
大丈夫か
You okay?
うん。
It was then I realized Kazuki was clinging to me, or more specifically, I was clinging to her. I've been holding her so tight her chest was heaving up and down in pain.
ごめん
I'm sorry. I quickly backed away. Kazuki fidgeted a little and took several deep breaths. Kenji Minamikata, the cool cat press author, would have been able to come up with a perfect, dandy remark to say at a time like this, I bet. Yeah, a week afterwards. I walked up the stairs and took another look at the portal device in front of the parku. Monsters were gone. The police car had drawn away the 3 monsters that were around the device. We might be able to make it past now. The 2 of us looked at one another and out from the stairs. But as we tried to run down Spain Hill, we saw something and froze. The portal device was shining with a strange golden light. I could hear a loud noise like clashing metal. I watched in shock as the light around the portal device began to coalesce into a monster. It was the same thing I saw on the news, which meant
また出てくるぞ
another's coming out. I motioned to Kazuki and we quickly turned back. By the time we made it back to the school, we were both too out of breath to run anymore. Were the monsters just going to keep appearing? If so, maybe no one would be able to live in Shibuya anymore. It would be our fault. I suddenly heard a brief blast from a siren. It was another patrol car. Was it the one that had been training the monsters earlier? But I didn't see any monsters around. The patrol car stopped in front of us. The driver's side window opened and the officer within spoke to us.
さっきこっちの方に別のパトカーが来なかったか
Did you see another car come this way? Kazuki and I both nodded.
どこで見た
Where'd you see it? Which way did it go?
パルク前で
In front of the park. I didn't know which way it had gone since I hadn't seen it myself. As we stood in silence, the policeman motioned to us.
とりあえず君たち乗りなさい
Get inside, you two.
こんなところを歩いていたら危ない
It's dangerous out here. I'll take you somewhere safe. I don't know if I trust that cop car.
でも
But
死にたいのか化け物がうろついてるんだぞ
do you want to get killed? There's monsters everywhere. Come on, get in. I almost told him he should blame the patrol car they've been training back there, but I changed my mind. To be fair, that idiot guy did drive a loud car down a street at high speeds when there's monsters around. He probably deserved that, but like, I mean, like he probably should have known that would attract monsters, right? Policeman was risking his life trying to protect us. He was fighting to get people out of the city, even if it meant facing the risk of being attacked by monsters. Yeah, he's trying to do the right thing. I couldn't turn him down because I wanted to continue my investigations. The next day, we gathered in the club room. Shouldn't there be like 20 monsters around the club room? Shouldn't there be like several monsters around here because there's literally a portal device on the roof? I'm just saying, this should be a dangerous place to be. Ito had come all the way around from Harajuku, he said. It wasn't safe to walk around in Shibuya anymore. The school itself was supposed to be closed, which made sense because of the portal device on the roof. Strangely, no monster had appeared from the school's portal device. I didn't know why, though. Teresa looked pale. Whenever I looked at her, she was silent and concerned. That was a normal reaction for what's happening in Shibuya, I thought. For his part, Ito didn't look tired at all. Whenever my eyes met his, he would poke me with his elbow.
おいおいお前和樹といつの間にそういう関係になってたんだよ
Hey, when did you and Kazuki get like that?
そういう関係って
Like what?
とぼけんなって
Don't try and
お
fool
前は
me.
リア充じゃないと思ってたのにまんまと抜け駆けしやがってこの子の
I never thought you were a normie, and now you've gone and left me behind.
それにしても尾上でも女帝でもなく和樹とはなああいうのが趣味だったとは意外だぜ
Still, I'm amazed it was Kazuki, not Inoue or the Empress. I didn't expect her to be your type.
やっぱあれかスルメの口移しとかしてイチャイチャしてんのかイカってところがエロいな
So what do you do? Are you feeding each other dried squid with your mouths? That's pretty naughty. Damn. The hell is he talking about? Is he stupid?
伊藤くん
Ito. Arius glared at him. The ice in her stare was well below freezing.
そういうゲスな話をするなら今すぐ出てってくれる
If you're going to be disgusting, could you please leave now?
すいません。
I'm sorry. Bruce sighed and opened her bag. She'd brought an especially big bag today. She took some wrapped up boxes out of the bag and put them on the table. Lunch.
和樹と一緒に後で食べなさい。
What'd I say? Eat these with Kazuki later. I unwrapped them and saw they contained sandwiches.
別にいいのに。
I'm fine though.
いいのにじゃないでしょ。コンビニやスーパーがいつも通りに開いてると思ってるの？
You are not fine. Do you think the convenience stores and supermarkets are open like usual?
油断していると食事に困って大変なことになるわよ。
If you're not careful, you'll run out of food and be in big trouble. To be honest, I was incredibly grateful. And to be entirely honest, if you're still in Shibuya during this disaster, it would be perfectly reasonable to loot. Or at least if you were trapped in here, maybe. Or, like, I mean, like, who else? People aren't going to use these. The dinosaurs can wreck them at any time. You know, perfect time. Just like Karus had said, none of the stores were open. Last night, we had to go all the way to Tomigaya.
あと来てないのは尾上だけか。
Is it just
大
Onoe who's
丈夫
not
か
here?
よ。
Is she okay? It was right, Sarika wasn't here. I just set the meeting time to around noon, so it wasn't like she was late, but I was still worried. Shibuya was swarming with monsters right now. If one of them attacked her on the way to school, more likely she got held up by the police. Just as I was thinking about going to look for her, the door to the club room flung open and Sarika came running in.
ああ、みんなもう勢ぞろいしてる。
Everybody's here already.
遅刻しちゃった？
Am I late?
遅れるなら連絡しなさい。状況が状況なのよ。
You're gonna be late. Send us a message. Don't you know what's happening out there?
ごめん。
Sorry.
誰もいない学校ってワクワクしない？ついつい体育館の方までぐるっと回ってきちゃった。
Isn't it exciting to be at school when no one else is around? I just went for a run around the gym. That's why she's late, really? I didn't know whether she was brave, thoughtless, or dumb. I don't know how she could laugh at a time like this.
うん、ねえ、ひなちゃんは呼ばなくてよかったの？
Did you not call Hina?
なんで有村？
Wait, why would we call Arimura? She wasn't part of the newspaper club. Wait, why wouldn't we call her? She's part of our
手
friend
か
group.
ら
Then.
火を出す人に襲われたんでしょ？あれと関係してるのかなって。
You were attacked by a woman who shot fire from her hands, right? I wonder if that might have something to do with this.
関係はしてるけれど、していないって言った方が正しいかもな。
It does, but to be honest, it really doesn't.
う？
Yes, it does. What are you talking about, Taku? You're an idiot. Oh, wait, we've already said that. It's entirely related. She's the reason this is happening in the first place.
それ日本語になってないぞ。
Doesn't make any sense. You're right. Thank
少
you,
なくと
Ito.
も、あの女はもう僕らを襲ってこない。と思う。
If nothing else, she's not going to attack us again. I think. I wasn't sure I'd ever see her again. I wasn't sure I'd never see her again, but
有村はあの日大丈夫だったんだよな。
Armor was fine after the attack, right?
私たちがずっと一緒にいたから。
Yeah, we were with her the whole time.
その日は有村さんも青葉寮に泊まらせたの。
She stayed at Alba Dorm that night.
翌朝にはだいぶ落ち着いたようだったから帰らせたんだけど。
She was a lot calmer the next morning, so we sent her home. Okay, that's fair. That makes sense. Then there was no need to worry about her. She's fine, right? Except for that like, psychopathic mother
それ
that
じ
may
ゃ
or may not happen.
始めさせてもらっていいか。
Alright, can I get started?
昨日みんなに頼んで渋谷のあちこちを調査してもらったわけだけど、
I asked you to search Shibuya yesterday.
今渋谷にはいくつポータル装置が出現しているのか。
I'd like to put
それを
together
まと
your
めたいんだ。
findings to figure out how many portal devices are in Shibuya. I explained to everyone. They were called portal devices because they came from a game called ESO2.
よくわかんない。
I don't
もっと
understand.
ちゃんと説明してくれないとちんぷんかんぷんだよ。
Wait, how is that not clear?
どうしてそのなんとか装置ってのが花ちゃんやタクに関係してるの？
Alright, he's intentionally avoiding giving them information because he's a dick. What do these portal what's it have to do with you and Hannah?
尾上には説明しなくても大丈夫じゃないか。だってどっちにしろわからないんだから。
Wow, that's so rude. There's no real need to explain anything to you, is there, Onoe? You're not gonna understand either way.
ああ、そっか。
Oh, right. Wow. That's super fucking rude. Holy shit. That was good enough for her.
でも一応聞きたい
I wanna
よ。
know anyway.
タクル、 ちゃんと説明しなさい。
Taku, explain.
人が
People are dead.
死んで
A
いるの
lot
よ。
of people.
しかもたくさん。
It's not our fault they're dead, though. It's not our fault they're dead.
あの化け物は何なの？
What are those monsters?
ああ、俺も見た。パトカーを襲ってた。それと最初に生中継された例のニュースも。ありゃ、なんだ？
I saw them too. They were attacking a cop, and there was this first live broadcast. What the hell are those things?
モンスターだ。文字通り。
Monsters. Literally. Yep. That's an alright explanation.
時間を追うごとに増殖している。
More and more are showing up all the time. The more people believe the devices spawn monsters, the more monsters spawn. Great job.
増えてるって？マジかよ。
They're multiplying? Seriously?
遺体があちこちに放置されていた。
There were bodies everywhere. It was awful.
ひどい。それがあなたたちのせいだと言うなら説明して。
If you're saying it's your fault, explain. It's not his fault, though. People did other things with it. The minute someone turns a relatively harmless device into a mass murder machine, it's not your fault. It's like you can't say fucking Tesla's an absolute monster because he invented electricity, which is used to execute people via the electric chair. That doesn't apply. I might be able to talk my way out of explaining things to Sarika or Ito, but it wasn't going to work on Karus. I'd said on the phone yesterday that the portal devices and monsters might be my fault. Why did it say the monsters are his fault? The monsters aren't his fault. Gods, what a fucking idiot. I don't even know why there's multiple portal devices, other than that the logic is there might be more than one because it's a fucking portal network. Kazuki's standing in front of the whiteboard staring down at her feet. It wouldn't be right not to explain. After all that had happened, there's no way I'd be able to keep it a secret. It would probably be better just to explain things to the people in the newspaper club. And so I told them everything, including the secret of Kazuki's power. First, no one seemed to know how to react. They all looked astonished. I thought Ito would tell me to stop joking around, but by the time I was halfway done, he was holding his head in his hands.
マジかよ。お前らシャレにならないだろ。
Seriously? This is nuts.
信じるのか？
Do you believe me?
信じるさ。宮代と和樹が急接近した理由がずっと謎だったんだ。
Of course I believe you. I'd never been able to figure out why you and Kazuki were so close all of a sudden. It all makes sense
だ
now,
って
right?
宮代が和樹を口説くなんて絶対想像つかないだろ。
I can't
でも今の
imagine you
説明で
convincing Kazuki to be your
やっと納得
girlfriend.
した。
But this explains everything.
注目するところはそ
Is
こ
that
な
what you're
の？
focusing on here? No, it works. It works with the way he's
なんにせよ
thinking.
この件に関しては真意を議論するつもりはない。今はポータル装置のことを優先させてくれ。
Either way, I'm not interested in discussing whether what I said is true or not. Let me focus on the portal devices. Everyone nodded.
それじゃあ一人ずつ報告していくか。どこでそのポータル装置だっけ？
Alright,
それを見かけた
should we
か。
take turns telling you what we saw? Whether we saw any of those, what do you call them, portal devices?
実は昨日調査中に警察に見つかってパトカーに乗せられたんだけれど、その時に警察が掴んでいる情報を教えてもらったんだ。
Police act. Alright. They told you what they knew? Okay.
みんなから報告を受けた後で照合してみる。
After everyone tells me what they saw, I'll compare it to what I heard from them.
じゃあ俺からな。
Alright, I'll start.
俺は2つ見つけた。
I found two portals.
恵比寿から渋谷駅に向かって明治通りをずっと歩いていったら、渋谷警察署の手前に一つ浮かんでた。
One was floating in front of Shibuya Police Station down Meiji Street between Ibisu and the train station. Right in front of the Shibuya Police Station, huh?
慌てて渋谷川を渡って桜ヶ丘町の方に逃げたよ。
I turned around and headed across Shibuya River towards Sakuraokacho.
で、六本木通りを渡ろうとしたら、今度は南口のバスターミナルにもあった。
And when I tried to cross Roppongi Street, I saw one at Shibuya Station's south exit bus terminal. I hope they don't make me fucking read Japanese street names, because I'm fucked if that's what they want. The south exit bus terminal?
あのモンスター、すげえキモいな。もやい像が動き出したのかと思った。
Those monsters are nasty, huh? I thought one of the Easter Island statues got up and started walking around.
明治通りの渋谷警察署手前と
In front of Shibuya Police Station on Meiji Street.
駅南口のバスターミナルだな。
South exit bus terminal Shibuya Station, right? I should mark this on the map. Are you serious? In front of Shibuya Police Station on Meiji Street. I can't read Japanese. I don't even know where the police station is. Is there a police-looking symbol? Yeah, it's wiki time. Alright, this is a tough one. He said he crossed the river, so it's gotta be like one of these ones that's near the river. Anyway, this is the time for the good old wiki strats. Alright, first strat. Oh, it is that one. It is this one, okay. Oh, we have to actually be tabbed into the game now? This one, I think. So that's police station in Japanese, I'm guessing. And south exit bus terminal at Shibuya Station. So maybe here? Okay, let's think about this. This is a major line. One of these might be... There's a train station going through this. Could be down here. It says south exit bus terminal at Shibuya Station. A bus terminal. This is a south... Okay, so this is the station. This isn't a... What is this then? I thought this would have been... Oh, let's see. I'll get back to the guide. I want to say that one has a southbound route. Like, okay. So, it says... I'm just going to repeat. The first one's the front of the Shibuya Station on Meiji Street, and the south exit bus terminal at Shibuya Station, right? South exit bus terminal. So it has to be a route that runs south. So it could be this one, it could be this one, or it could be this one. It could theoretically be this one. I think it's this one though. And that's because the wiki's telling me it is. It has to be a southbound route. There's an M for metro there. But I don't know what the markings on the map are. What about you two, Onoe?
2つ見つけたよ。ああ、でもそのうち1個は昨日の昼のニュースで中継されてたところだけど。
We found two, but one's from the news yesterday.
それってサインシティの裏だったな。
The one behind Sign City, right? Sign City was a pair of buildings right on the west side of Shibuya Station. West? Oh, left half of the map. It was a hotel and office complex with its own private railroad. Survived the earthquakes 6 years ago. Okay, I see a... I don't know what...
ええ、道玄坂を上がっていく途中で小さな路地を入る。
We went down a tiny alley on our way up through Dogenzaka. Dogenzaka, right?
もう1個は107のすぐ目の前。
The other was right in front of the 107.
道玄坂の途中と
Dogenzaka. Gonna auto-place this one. Apparently that's Dogenzaka, alright.
107の目の前。
And in front of the 107. Well, there's 107 to the northeast of Dogenzaka. It says 1-07, so I should mark that information down. It's this one, right? It's gotta be this one. You can see 107, like the arrow is fucking pointing to it. Okay.
僕が警察から聞いた情報と一致してる。
That matches what I heard from the police. Okay,
僕ら
good.
が直接見つけたのは1個。パルク前にあった。
We found a device in front of Parku. Anything with P on it? Fuck, I wasn't guessing that one. Green P would have made sense for me, but alright. That
警
makes
察
sense.
は
It's like a
ポータル
slight
装置
curve.
を中心とした半径約100メートルのエリアがモンスターの行動範囲だって考えてるみたいだ。
The police seem to think monsters are active within a 100-meter radius of the portal devices. That's probably just as close as any of them dared to get. Of course, there was a chance even if you got that close, the monsters couldn't see you, or that they'd attack you outside that area.
警察はポータル装置の場所を全部掴んでるのか？
The police know where all the portals are?
ああ。みんなが見つけたもの以外だと。
Yeah, in addition to the ones you guys found. That seems about right.
へえ。
駅をぐるっと取り囲んでるみたいだな。
Looks like they're surrounding the station. Oh, is the blue thing Shibuya Station and not a river? Yeah. I totally thought the blue thing was water. Oh, dude. No, maybe the water is just down here. There's like a canal on like the parallel with the 305. Oh. Oh, it's literally called Metro. The first three characters in the like river, the river that it's surrounding are METO and RO. It's a metro station. Oh, okay, I was thinking that was like a weird ass river or some shit. Wow, all right. Who the heck picks that color? Who the heck picks that color and doesn't use it for water? What the hell? It's like the standard map watercolor is light blue. And they picked like a medium blue for a river. Screw them. It's usually like this sky blue and then the green is like parks, right? So this is like Miyashita Park. Miyashita Koen, that actually does say park. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at the map now because we got time and they want us to look at it, so fuck it, we're gonna do that. That's actually the only thing I can... Well, okay, there's a few other things. There's a few other things I can read, but like, oh man, that was the easiest one to read, for sure. Alright, they're surrounding the station for some reason. That's weird.
なんか意味があるのかな?
Does it mean anything? Why the station though? Does it mean anything?
渋谷にいる人たちに駅を使わせたくないとか。
You don't want people in Shibuya using the station?
どうして？
Why?
それは俺に聞かないでくれよ。
Don't ask me.
ねえ、花ちゃん、どうしてなのかわかる?
Hannah, do you know? Kazuki was still staring at her feet.
ああ、ごめん。花ちゃんが悪いって言ってるんじゃないよ。ただ、どうしてかなって不思議だっただけ。
I'm not saying it's your fault, Hannah. I'm just trying to figure it out.
意図なんてないよ。すべては偶然の産物だ。
There's no meaning. It's all coincidence. I spoke as if to reprove Sarika. It was just as Nightheart had told me.
説明しただろ。和樹の能力はコントロールできない。
I told you, right? Kazuki can't control her
人
power.
がよく通る場所に装置が出現しているのがその証拠だ。そういう場所の方が和樹の妄想がより反響しやすい。
The fact that portal devices show up at places people go a lot is proof of that. It's easier for her delusions to echo in places like that.
なるほど。
I understand? Don't tilt your head in confusion when you say you understand. You don't understand at all.
でもまずいよな。
Anyway, this is really bad. Yeah, it would have been way more useful if they were spread out and isolated. A, because it'd be more useful if it was an actual portal network, and B, because there wouldn't be a billion monsters.
まずい
In one
って
place.
何が？
That's bad.
ヒカリオにさ、人がたくさん集まって立てこもってるらしいんだよ。
There's a lot of people stuck in the Hikario. Alright.
一体誰が？駅に残ってた人たちは避難させるって話じゃなかったか？
Weren't they supposed to evacuate all the people left in the station? Do you like the train routes they have? Shibuya had been put under heavy curfew yesterday. The police had gone around evacuating anyone they could find. There is like a linear route north. Last night, all the train companies stopped transit to Shibuya Station. They weren't sure the station would be safe. Yeah. The station had been shut down and the shutters lowered. Okay, if the train station is blue, there is literally a path straight north. A lot of people have been trapped then, and there was a big debate online about how to get them out. As of this morning, one of the railroad companies had put together a desperate plan to send a train to the station to get the people out.
それとは別に、あえて避難しなかった連中がヒカリオにも集まってるんだと。
I heard there's a bunch of people who deliberately didn't evacuate, and they're all in the Kahariwa.
ほら、宮下公園にホームレスがいっぱいいただろ。あの辺の連中だよ。
You know, there's all those homeless people in Miyashita Park, right? Those guys.
なるほどな。あそこにいた人たち、
They don't have anywhere else to
みんな
go.
帰る場所がないから。
Then Gen was there too? Who knew how safe it would be?
駅って封鎖されているのよね。
The station's been sealed off, right?
なんだか6年前みたい。
Kind of like it was 6 years ago.
そう思わない？タク。
Don't you think so, Taku? Don't remind me. Don't
そういうこと言う。
Don't say that. A month ago, I would have been so excited, only because I wasn't directly involved. Now, things were different. I was partially to blame for this. I couldn't feel any excitement at all. We all tried to come up with plans to fix things, but no one had any real ideas. We knew the answer from the beginning. Since there was no way to control Kazuki's power, there was no way for her to get rid of her delusions. There's an easy way to do this. You're just being too stupid. If they're controlled by people thinking stupid shit, tell them something else. Convince them they self-destruct after a week. Do something. After about 2 hours, we started to realize it may not be safe to stay at the school and decided to head home. Why? Why is the school not safe? Monsters aren't spawning there. It's a unique to...
タクル、
Fuck off.
あなた帰る場所ないでしょ？うちに戻ってきたら？
Taku, what? You don't have anywhere to go, do you? Why not come home? By home, she meant Alba Dorm. He was right, I couldn't go back to Miyashita Park. There might be monsters there now.
タクって今、花ちゃんの部屋にいるんだよね。
Taku's staying with Hannah now, right?
やらしいよな。
How lewd. He actually said how lewd. Kazuki shook her head furiously.
なあ宮代、風呂とか入ってるのか？脱衣所で風呂上がりにばったりみたいなラッキースケベイベント
Are
に
you
は遭
taking
遇した
baths
か？
while you're there? You run into her naked in the bath yet? That was all Ito seemed to care
伊
about.
藤くん、いい加減にして。
Ito? Enough?
そういうの本当にあるのかな？
I don't know if that ever actually happened.
だってずっと一緒にいるんだぜ。それぐらいのハプニングはあっても。
I mean, they're always together, right? It would make sense. Kazuki's face turned bright red as she pounded the wall. Alright.
そういうのはないと。そうか。
Nothing like that happened, she says. I see. Sorry. It was rare to see Kazuki so upset.
それでタクル、どうするの？うちに来る？
No, Taku, what will you do? Come home? No. Say no.
いや、行かない。
No, I won't.
和樹を一人にはできない。
I can't leave Kazuki alone.
だったら、二人とも来ればいいわ。
And both of you can come. But your computer sucks and she wants to play video games and there's a decent computer here for some reason.
それもダメだ。寮に危険が及ぶ可能性だってあ
Can't do
る。
that. It might put the dorm in danger.
そんなこと
It's
は。
not...
タク、それでいいの？
Taku, are you okay with that?
あ、
Yeah.
そっか。それじゃあ私たちは帰ろう。ほら、のんちゃんも。
Okay, let's go, everybody. Come on, you two now.
あ、ちょっとセリカ。
Wait, Sarika.
タク、花ちゃん、バイバイ。
Taku, Hannah, bye bye. Sarika smiled and waved, then grabbed Ito and Karus by the hand and went to leave the room.
タクル、カズキのこと頼むわよ。何かあったらすぐに私に連絡することいい？
Take care, Kazuki. If anything happens, call me right away, got it?
なあ、
Okay, Nason. Bye. Karus looked like she wanted to say more, but Sarika dragged her out of the room before she could. We get to live in the school for a couple days then. It's a school, they have a gym, and that means they have showers, right? They have a gym, they have a locker room, they have showers. You can actually change your clothes here. Please change your clothes. Kazuki and I were left alone in the club room.
勝手に決めたけど、よかったかな。もう部屋に入れたくないならそう言ってほしいんだけど。
I just decided that on my own. Was that okay? If you don't want me coming over anymore, tell me.
ううん。
Ah, she shook her head again. That was all she'd been doing lately.
でも、
Then she suddenly started to talk. She'd been so insistent about not talking when everyone else was around. That means she trusted
セ
me?
リカ先輩のこと、
Is Sarika going to be upset?
いいのって？
Upset?
タクル先輩が私の部屋来ると、
If you come to
セ
my
リ
room,
カ先輩
Sarika might be
怒
upset.
るかも。
Maybe.
なんで？
Why?
だってタクル先輩とセリカ先輩
But
付き合ってるんでしょ？
you two are together, right?
は？
Dating? What?
いやいやいや、付き合ってないし。
We're not.
だっていつも一緒だったかも
We were
だから。
always together. Maybe
それは幼馴染だからってだけだ。
we've known each other since we were kids.
付き合ってないんだ。
You're not,
知らなかったかも。
you're not dating. I didn't know that. Maybe. I like how she ends everything with maybe. She's like, maybe. Had Kazuki gotten mad back there because she didn't want Sarika misunderstanding things? If so, she had been wasting her time.
それにしても、和樹がそんな
I
誤
can't
解を
believe
して
you
いたな
thought
んてな。
that.
少し意外だ。他人に興味なさそうに見えたから。
I'm a little surprised. You didn't seem like you cared about anyone else. I'm surprised too.
さてと、僕たちもそろそろ帰ろう。ここも危ないだろうか
Anyway,
ら。
let's go home. It might be dangerous here. No, she's gonna sit here and play ESO. No, we're playing ESO. Yep, then I realized Kazuki sat down at the PC to play ESO too. This is what we were here for, bro. And she had her headphones
でい
on.
つの間にゲーム始めてた。
Wait, when did you start the game? Gamer powers, what can I say? She must have been really excited to play her game. Kazuki's gaze was locked on the monitor. She didn't look away for an instant. Her concentration was palpable. If I interrupted her, she might punch me instead of the wall. It wouldn't hurt to let her play for a while. It's dangerous, but it wouldn't hurt. Since I didn't have much to do while she was playing her game, I decided to go to the roof. Of course, I didn't go to the back. I just went up past the crumbling stairs to look outside. The portal device was still floating out there. Unlike the one in front of the park, in front of Park U, where there were no bodies anywhere, just a single red stain on the floor. Were monsters going to appear from this one? I felt an indescribable terror welling up within me. It was so scary being here alone. I ran back to the club room. This guy. This guy. I swear, there's not many people who can look. I'm gonna save right here because I don't want things to like crash or anything. But this is like the only person on the planet who, when they see a random object that's not doing anything, can have a panic attack and run. Once Kazuki started her game, she wouldn't take her headphones off no matter how much I yelled at her. She was totally lost in the game and totally forgot I even existed. That's right, that's who Kana Kazuki was. She wouldn't use her power to save me regardless of the risks normally, or let me stay in a room. Normally, this is who she was. I've been living with her in the same room for a few days, and I'd forgotten that. Still, I was amazed how she could play a game for so long without any breaks. Didn't she have to go to the bathroom? Actually, I remembered that Cool Cat Press had once done an article on gamers who never left their seats. It said a true gamer would rather keep playing than take the time to go to the bathroom. This might be true. Might be. So if they had to go, they used a plastic soda bottle or something like that. No. What are you doing? This isn't South Park, bro. When I'd seen the article, I thought it had to be fiction. Watching Kazuki, I wasn't so sure. Wait, did Kazuki ever go in soda bottles? No, you just stay underhydrated.
いやいやいや、何変なことを考えてるん
There's
だ
an
僕
easy
は。
answer. If you stay moderately dehydrated, or at least not adequately hydrated, you won't have to go to the bathroom as often. Then you can play longer. Come on, be efficient, Takuru. No. What the hell am I thinking? Ever since I started living in the same room, I started having more and more delusions like that. Maybe it was just because I was a boy undergoing puberty. Later, I'd come to hate myself for feeling that way, given all that was going on. A huge noise almost caused me to jump in the air. Dude, Kazuki had hit the wall again. She does that all the time. What had happened this time to upset her? You gonna go look? I looked inside the window. I swear, this guy is literally like the girlfriend in this relationship, where it's like, wow, something just happened and he punched the fucking wall. Not worth finding out. Is that a game where you kill people? Is this a game where you kill monsters for XP? I looked outside the window. Come on, man. The sky was turning red. It was surprisingly noisy outside. There wasn't a single person inside or outside the school. But the noise was coming from the police sirens on the ground and media helicopters up above. The media had decided it was too risky to head in Shibuya directly, so they were forced to do the reporting from the sky. Still, it felt like they'd been there all day, from morning to night. I was amazed if they hadn't gotten bored. Without anyone here in Shibuya, it wasn't like there was anything that could happen. Someone's walking around the school. Then I thought I heard a different noise than the sound of the helicopter rotors. I held my breath and listened. It didn't seem like I was imagining it. I could hear the sound. It was a sound I'd normally never pay any attention to, but a sound I definitely shouldn't have heard in this building. Someone's footsteps were coming down the hall. That was enough to bring back my memory of several days ago. It's footsteps, there's no dragging. Was that woman still alive? Particularly nasty sweat started to pour out of my body. I tried my best not to make a sound as I concentrated all my focus into my ears. The footsteps didn't sound like the person was wearing heels. I didn't hear any dragging. It wasn't that woman. At least that's what I wanted to believe. But then who? Someone besides us in this school? But who? Dude, this is big news. You should be like shaking Hannah's shoulder, being like, shh. And like, pointing to you don't even need to be verbal. You shake her shoulder, you make a shush sound, then you put you put like a finger pointing towards your ear, do like a listening sound, and then point in the direction. The others had gone home hours ago. Had they come back? Wouldn't they call or text me first then? I peeked in the teacher's office when I'd arrived, and no one was there. The only other possibility I could think of was that someone besides us ignored the police warning and stayed in Shibuya. The footsteps were getting closer. I tapped Kazuki on the shoulder and made her take off her headphones. Praise the sun, he's not that stupid.
誰かが来る。
Someone's coming. What should we do? Hide? Run? They probably knew we were here. Nobody would come all the way to the 5th floor of the building otherwise. Au contraire, they might be looking for the portal here. But then, who could they be? Maybe the mastermind controlling the woman? That's possible. It could be Kunosato. It could be Shinjo. If that was the case, it would be a bad idea to try and hide. But it didn't seem like Kazuki and I would be able to fight them. We had to run. It was better than hiding.
カズキ、逃げるぞ。
Kazuki, we're going to run. What? Why are we running? This makes it obvious where we are. We should just, like, make it look like nobody's in here and hide behind the door. Hide in, like, a room that can't be seen from here. We should just hide. Like, dude, nobody can see through this glass. If you do something smart, like hide around the corner, you should be fine. Ideally, you, like, move one of these shelves and hide behind it, but they might hear that at this point. I saw Kazuki nod, took a deep breath, and opened the door. I ran out into the hallway, but there was someone standing there, and I ran straight into them. What a complete idiot. He deserves this, 100%. I can't believe he was running out, like, without looking, while there was someone right outside. I lost my balance and almost fell over. Someone grabbed my hand as it flailed out into the air.
大丈夫?
Are you okay? Oh, it's a teacher. You're a fucking idiot. Holy shit. I was like, if it's Shinjo, it's not a terrible idiot. What a fucking idiot. What are you doing? It's not even something stupid. He just panicked and ran straight into the person he was trying to hide from. It was only then I realized who it was. It's this guy, yeah?
Wakui sensei.
Mr. Wakui?
いやー、君たちだったのか。
So it was you guys, huh? The language teacher and advisor for the newspaper club and student council looked at us both and grinned.
一部の保護者から連絡があってね。
There was a call from some of the parents. Wakui nibbled on the dried squid Kazuki offered him as he explained.
ニュースで渋谷の空撮映像が流れていたんだ。そこでちょうどここが映った時に人影が見えたって。
Oh, they didn't close the blinds! How stupid! Oh my god! You have blinds right there. All you have to do is close the blinds and no one sees you're there. Oh, that's so dumb! They were throwing shots at Shibuya from the sky and someone said they saw people in the building.
それで僕がこうして様子を見に来たわけだよ。まったく。
So I came to
人使い
check on
荒い
you.
よね。
Sheesh. They can't cut me a break, huh? Why didn't they send the cops? Anyway, all I could do was laugh. It was just like Wakui to end up being forced into coming here because he couldn't bring himself to refuse. We'd managed to make it here because we knew a lot about the situation in Shibuya, but Wakui must have come here without doing any research at all. Wrongsiders like him were always the first to die. Too much time in peaceful Japan had addled his brain.
一体何をしていたんだい？危ないから休校になっているのに。
What were you doing? They closed the school because it's dangerous. Now, how to talk my way out of this? Okay, it's gonna be really easy. I don't need a brain. I point to the map and say, this is the radius of all the monster's threats. We're done. Like, we're perfectly safe here. Bye. So, like, there's a portal on the roof. It's never spawned a monster. So we should be safe. It's never spawned a monster or coalesced gold. So we should be fairly safe here. And here's the radii of every single one of the other ones mapped to the 100-meter radius the police believe it is. I think we're safe here. You say that, and you know what? He doesn't have, other than the fact that the school's closed, he doesn't have a strong argument. Which, I mean, this is Japan, so it's like you can show up to closed schools anyway. Like, I don't fucking know. He probably doesn't have a great excuse. Like, he might be, like, somewhat lenient if you do that at least. Let's see. How do we talk our way out of this? There was no point telling Wakui the truth. That is perfectly legitimate. You could say, well, we found it out because of the police information. As I tried to figure out the best way, Kazuki walked back to the computer and booted up ESO2 again. Wakui stared at her suspiciously for a moment. Were you playing video games?
ゲームしてたの?
I was like, yeah. Kazuki nodded without looking away from the screen.
なんだ、そんな理由か。まったくのんきだな。人が亡くなっているっていうのに。
You know people died, right? People died.
外をほっつき歩くよりは学校内にいた方が安全では。
It's safer to be inside the school than outside, right?
それを言うなら渋谷から出た方がいいんじゃないかな。
Wouldn't it be safer to leave Shibuya altogether? Perfect. This is the perfect segue into your map with the clearly denoted danger zones, and you're like, monsters don't leave these zones. We are well outside all these zones. We are good.
僕は宮下公園に住んでますから。
Live in Miyashita Park.
ああ、そうだっけ。他に頼れるところはないの？親戚とか。
Come on, man! Just say it! Just say it! We found it. We from what we can tell, it's safe. The monsters don't leave 100 meters from this area. There's a portal above us that's literally never spawned anything. If anything, the police should be here investigating the portal that's not spawning monsters because it's safer. Oh my god, please say something intelligent for 5 minutes. Come on, man. Come on, man. This conversation was fuck off. Oh, he's so dumb. I'd known Wakui since I started the newspaper club. Had I never told him I didn't have any relatives?
まあね、君たちの気持ちもわかるんだよ。
Anyway, I do understand how you feel. Come on, man. You don't even need to talk about your family. Just be like, dude, it's perfectly safe. Like, he's concerned you're going to get killed by a monster. So if you explain to him your rationale behind why you're safe and why, like, you're like, the police told me this, the police told me this, and the police told me this, and based on that information, I believe I'm relatively safe here. You can be like, he could be like, oh, I understand. But you haven't given him anything to go on. What the fuck are you doing, Takuru? Come on, man.
いや、渋谷に戒厳令が敷かれたような状況になってるでしょ。こんなことをなかなか経験できることじゃないからね。
Shibuya is basically under martial law, right? It's not every day you get to experience that.
危険だと分かっていても、ついその危険の中に飛び込みたくなる気持ちっていうのかな。
Even if you know it's dangerous, you still want to experience it, I guess.
若気の至りと言っちゃそこまでなんだけどさ。
It's one of the follies of youth. This guy's like trying to sympathize.
でも僕はその若気の至りというやつを否定するつもりはない
I
ん
don't
だ。
think there's anything wrong with that, honestly.
おや、どうしてって顔しているね。言っておくが僕だって君たちみたいに若かった頃があるんだよ。
You seemed confused to hear that. Just so you know, I was young once too. I hadn't been confused. You seem very confused, Takuru, because you can't put forth a coherent argument. Like, you don't even have to be smart. You just need to point at the fucking billboard and be like, we checked the radiuses of the danger zones. We're good. I'd been bored. I felt like this was going to take a while. And he was totally trying to pull off the teacher who understands the student act. Yeah, he is. You should be able to work with this. Come on. He is giving you like so many outs or ways to work with him, and you're being a fucking idiot. There's nothing wrong with that, Mr. Wakui, but you're wasting your time trying to understand me and with Kazuki right now. He's doing
若者というのはどんな時代だって大人や社会に対して反抗的でいたいものさ。
He's doing the I'm better than you speech. I know more than you, I'm infinitely better than you, and thus there's like nothing you could possibly yeah, okay. He's doing his usual thing where he's like, I'm so far beyond you, I'm not gonna actually explain anything to you in any way that would be useful for you. The young always want to rebel against the system, against the adults.
事実、戦後数十年はそういう若者たちで溢れていたわけだし。
In fact, the first few decades after World War II, Japan was filled with young people like that.
ちょうど僕の親ぐらいの世代からかな、おとなしくなっちゃったのは。
It was around my parents' generation when things finally started to calm down.
物分かりが良すぎるんだよね。特に僕ら以降の世代って。
They were a little too understanding, you see. Especially my generation, the ones after us. I wasn't sure how to respond to this. What was the best way to get rid of this guy? The billboard right behind you. It has the safety zones. You're like, these are the zones that are safe in this area. We don't go in those zones because we'll get killed. Moving on. I couldn't let him find out that Kazuki and I were staying in the same room, which meant ideally I wanted to leave the school without him. My phone started vibrating in my pocket. Ku was still talking, but I took it out anyway as a sign I wasn't interested in hearing what he had to say. I had a message. It was from Kazuki. Wait, Kazuki? She's right beside us. I looked up. Kazuki was still playing ESO with her back to me. Is she gonna tell you how to deal with this guy? Because you're too dumb to do it? When I looked carefully, I saw she was holding her smartphone with the hand that wasn't holding the mouse. Why would she text me if I was standing right in front of her? Because, holy shit, Kazuki can learn. Kazuki is learning. She's texting him so that she doesn't have to open her mouth. This is amazing. It's amazing. Everyone but Takuru is learning really quickly. It was so hard to tell what Kazuki was thinking. Or maybe there's something important she couldn't tell me because Wakui was here? Anyway, I looked at the message. Eh?
Miyashiro-kun?
You sure? Is something wrong?
Yeah.
No.
そう
Yeah?
ならいいけど。で、どこまで話したっけ
Anyway, where was I? Well, you see...
つまりね。
Alright, are we gonna get our character's internal monologue while Wakui talks in the background and we ignore him? Wakui was still talking. Was he always this talkative? Oh yeah. My heart was pounding loud and fast. My mind still couldn't process it. I couldn't believe what I just saw in that text message. I took another look at it, being careful not to let Wakui see. Message from Nightheart. Wakui is an assassin from the committee. Oh shit, I wasn't expecting that one. Holy shit. I was not expecting that one. I was expecting some moderately surprising news or her telling him something useful. I was not expecting that one. Message from Nightheart. Mr. Wakui is an assassin for the committee. Holy shit. I know he's suspicious and like suspiciously empathetic to us, but I was not expecting him to suddenly be an assassin. Okay. The committee would be the committee of 300 that Nightheart had been talking about, right? Their assassin was Wakui? The language teacher? The guy who was rambling on in front of me?
ところで、なんだっけ宮代くんたちが調べていた事件って。
By the way, what's the name of that thing you were looking into?
え？ほら、そこのボードに貼ってあるやつ。
Oh, you know, the one on the board? The one on the board? That would be the danger zones of the monsters. We did some research and talked to the police. Please say that.
何かわかった？
Did you find something out? Should I believe him or not? Nightheart said the committee of 300 might take action. But he hadn't told me why. What were they after? He was an assassin? Were they trying to kill me and Kazuki? Okay, so the best plan of action right now, I mean right now, you're worried about him, you want to get him off your trail. You say, I talked to the police, they've estimated these are the danger zones, we're just going to avoid those and like play games here. Is that okay? You know, we don't have a, you know, neither of us has like a great home life, and our homes are kind of disrupted by the monsters. So she's going to come here and play video games occasionally. We're going to stay out of these areas and try to like get him like that, because if he's an assassin, he probably doesn't even give a shit if you're not involved, right? If you're like completely uninvolved in this whole plot and you've just done some research online, like, who gives a fuck? This is public. No, you know, if you're Googling shit and find the answers, the committee's not going to kill you because it's fucking public knowledge at this point. Or the police already know it. So there's like 50 people in the force who already know it. So you kind of ignore it. You kind of just say that and then leave. And he should like not kill. He's not going to kill you. If you're like, well, me and Hannah made these portals, you're fucked up. Like, come on. It shouldn't be hard to just, you don't even have to lie. You just explain what the map is and why you think it's safe to be in this area. Did they not like what was happening in Shibuya right now? Plus, he's been working here for a long time, so it's not like he's doing anything. Of course, no one would like it. Not just the committee. I mean, him working for the school isn't a new thing, though. So, like, he already has been working at the school for a while. Killing us wouldn't make things better. Did the committee not know that? If I told them, would they really just leave me alone? Why is he saying this? Dude, just, like, explain stuff to get him off your back. Holy shit, man. Was there another reason they wanted to kill us? I didn't know. There was no way for me to know. It was all just guesses. This whole time, this guy's just sitting there staring you awkwardly in the face because you're doing really stupid shit and not just being like, hey. Like, all he had to do was give a 5-minute explanation, and now it's like escalating from this guy being annoying to this guy maybe disrupting your like day to like this guy possibly murdering you. At every single step, my initial suggestion of just telling him this is why we're safe, fuck off, would have been like the best call. Like, it isn't even complicated because you have everything written down on the fucking board there. Holy shit, man. Just explain it to him. I didn't know. There's no way for me to know. It's all just guesses. What was Nightheart? Was what Nightheart said even true anyway? Yeah, you have no clue if it's true. Who cares? Did the committee of 300 really exist? Where did he find out? How? What was the source? Looking back, it was hard to say if he was even on our side. Kazuki seemed to trust him, though. Was it possible Nightheart was the real assassin? If I wanted to be really skeptical, I couldn't even be sure Nightheart had contacted Kazuki now. There was a chance she was lying to me. I didn't know why, but there was a chance she might be trying to make me think Wakui was a bad guy. There were all sorts of things to do. Yes, everyone's evil. Everyone's against you. I was so confused. Dude, it's fucking simple. Please stop being stupid. I'm so confused. What should I believe in? Who? Who should I believe? Who was I supposed to believe?
Oi.
Hey, Miyashiro. Hello? You've zoned out for like 5 minutes, dude. This isn't a complicated process. Just fucking explain to him why you think you're semi-safe here and go on. Hearing my name shook me out of the trance. Evidently, I'd been lost in thought.
顔青くないかい？
You look kind of pale. Oh my god, please just say something.
ああ、いえ。
Oh, no. What were we talking about again?
事件のことですか？
About the case?
そうそう。
That's right.
いろいろ無茶して調べてたんでしょ？
You were doing a bunch of crazy things while you were looking into it, right? And this is where you're like, oh yeah, I'm not doing that shit anymore. It's not really interesting. I moved on to this one. Come on, man. Not hard. Kazuki looked over her shoulder at me. When I saw the little bit of fear in her eyes, I made my decision. That's right. Whether or not I could trust Nightheart, there was no way I couldn't trust Kazuki. He wasn't the type of person who could lie to him. Is he gonna, like, attack this guy? And it didn't make a lot of sense for Rikui to be right here right now. He was the type of person who'd go out of his way to avoid trouble. Would he really put himself in danger by coming to Shibuya just because a parent called?
だいぶ前にクルス君から軽く愚痴られたよ。
Bruce was complaining to me a long time ago.
宮代君がちっとも言うことを聞いてくれないから顧問として指導してくれってね。
She said you weren't listening to anything she said, so she wanted me to talk to you.
はあ。
Huh. Why was Wakui rambling on like this? If he was an assassin, wouldn't he just try to kill us? No, he's trying to get you to let your guard down, and you're super sketchy, but you're thinking he's super sketch. They wouldn't send a complete amateur. He's trying to get information, right? He's trying to get information, then he kills you, or he's trying to get you to let your guard down. One of those two. He should be capable of killing us. I realized I was more nervous than I thought, but I couldn't let it show. If Wakui found out, I was finished. Dude, like, there's so many ways to successfully dismiss this
世界
guy.
各地で起きている戦争やらテロ事件なんかを見聞きしていろいろ考えたんだよ。
It's so easy to dismiss this guy, Takuru. It's so fucking easy. But you've done, like, literally nothing to let him know that it's... Like, tell him something that'll make him change his premise for being here. Because the whole time, you haven't given him a reason to think you're even remotely safe here. Because for all he knows, like you were thinking, he's a complete dumbass who doesn't do any research and thinks every single square foot of the city is a fucking death trap. All you have to do is tell him that's not the case and explain it to him why. Because you talked to the police about this and they confirmed it with you. So you should be safe. Come on, man. Like, any reasonable reason to get rid of him. Don't just, like, sit there being a dumbass and telling him to fuck off. Get off your fucking high horse and explain something for 2 minutes. You small-brained flea, Takuru. Like, Jesus. If he gets killed here, he 100% deserves it. And the reason he deserves it is because he thinks he's so much better than this guy that he literally refuses to tell him why he's here. It would have been so easy to get rid of him by just telling him why he's here. And he'd be like, oh, okay, it's safe here. All right, well, that's fine, bye. And leave. He would have to either do that or come up with a new reason to be here. But he hasn't done either of that, so, like, I don't know. Fucking Christ. I mean, it's Takuru, whatever. You know, when I was a student, I'd hear about wars and terrorist attacks going on all over the world, and I think about it a lot.
それでバックパッカーとして旅に出たりしてね。いわゆる
He 100%
自分
deserves
探
anything
し
that
の
happens
旅
to him.
ってやつかな。
Takuru deserves everything that happens to him because he's doing things in such a backwards order that makes literally no sense. Like, it's one thing for you to say, I have a problem with X, and someone to be like, did you try the obvious? It's entirely another to be like, I'm doing this because of this. And to be like, oh, okay. Like, just to give them an actual explanation, but he hasn't done anything. He always thinks he's so much better than you that literally if you told him you were eating potato chips because they tasted good, that would be too much of an explanation for him because he's too incompetent to understand that things could possibly taste good and you would want to eat them because they taste good rather than because they're nutritious. Like, that's the level Takuru is most of the time, where it's like, you couldn't possibly be doing something for any reason that's comprehensible to you, even if it's like the most basic bitch reason on the planet. It's like, oh, yes, people like cookies, Takuru. That's why they eat them. Not because they're healthy. People are aware they're unhealthy. But Takuru is like, Chikuru's like, I'm eating cookies, and there's no way anyone could possibly comprehend why I'm eating this cookie right now at this exact moment. It's just the most perfect thing in the world. It's so fucking good. Nobody else understands how good cookies are. And you're like, dude, you realize no one thinks they're healthy. Like, everyone eats them because they like them, but he's too much of an elitist that he thinks he's beyond you. I actually ended up putting on a backpack and going on a trip, you know? One of those find yourself trips.
意外ですね。
I'm kind of surprised. I'd be surprised, right?
僕もあの頃は若かったな。
I was young then. What could be the reason Wakui was still talking about all this? Because you haven't given him a reason to leave yet? In fact, you've given him reasons to be suspicious? I could eliminate the possibility that Nightheart was wrong. If he was, then I'd be fine. It would be safer to assume the worst case. Possibility 1, he's trying to drag out the conversation to learn something from us. His target might be me, or it might be just Kazuki. What if he wasn't sure who it was yet? Perhaps he was only after the person who created the portal device, and he wasn't sure if it was me or Kazuki. Possibility 2, he's hesitant. He's our club advisor. After all, it's possible he felt some kind of sympathy for us. Unlikely. No, there's no chance of that. Yeah, even Takuru agrees, and he's a dumbass.
でも僕としては宮代君の味方をしてあげたんだよ。
I took your side.
クルス君の言い分もよくわかるんだけどね。やっぱりほら、僕も宮代君と同じく男だから。
Right, so remember, Wakui doesn't necessarily suspect you of anything. You're just being a complete dumbass here. You need to understand, like, assuming that you're going to die here is like the worst possible decision you could make. Is the worst possible thought you could make. The smart one is like, I'm going to survive this. He doesn't suspect me. And I'm going to play like he doesn't suspect me so that I can be confident and put up an act, right? Because, like, 90% of disguising of a disguise is like acting like it's not a disguise in the first place. Like you don't, if you're like if you're breaking into somewhere, you don't, like, if you're breaking into an office in broad daylight, you don't wear a balaclava and like dark clothing and hide around every corner and do like corner checks. You just walk in there in a fucking suit, okay? Because if people expect you to be there, then they aren't going to give you a second look. If you look hella suspicious, like Takuru does all the fucking time, like, everyone's going to sense something's off. Because, like, why would you be doing this if in a normal conversation? Whatever. I'm going to stop commenting. Was he waiting for us to fall into some trap? Or was he just not worried because he didn't think we knew who he was? I sent a quick message back to Kazuki. Going to run.
男子として共感しちゃったわけ。
As someone who was once a boy, I sympathized.
それ単にあれこれ指導するのが面倒だったとかじゃないんです
It
か？
wasn't just that you were too lazy to come lecture me?
失礼だな。ま、実際のところは君の言う通りなんだけどね。
How rude. Well, to be honest, you're right. Immediately an answer came from Kazuki. How? Yeah, how are we gonna run? He's got way more speed than us. His legs work. His legs work. He's a trained assassin, and which means he's probably fit. Like, you're 8 kinds of fucked trying to run from this guy. For now, I want to get out of this room, but it's okay. We know Takuru can't put together a plan to save his life. Or really communicate anything smart. Alright. Get away from Wakui too, if I can manage it.
ただ、あんまりやんちゃをするのは良くないな。
You know, it's not good to go too far. By the way, if you guys start texting each other a lot, your phones will vibrate and he'll notice that. We've heard the vibrations.
君たちはまだ学生なんだからね。法に触れるようなことをしたら将来を棒に振ってしまう。
You're still students, you see. If you break the law, you could ruin your whole future.
ああ、取材の話か。
You mean the reporting we're doing?
いえ、別にやましいことは何もしてないし。
We haven't done anything wrong yet. That scared me. I thought he was talking about something else. The next thing I knew, my throat was parched. I gulped down the entire Mountain View I'd just bought from the vending machine earlier. This was looking bad. Both Kazuki and I were powerless. Everything this guy does digs himself a deeper hole. It's so funny. There's basically no chance both of us were getting away. I might have to pick the better of 2 bad choices. It was my one hope for avoiding the worst possible outcome.
なあ、カズキ。
Hey, Kazuki. Kazuki jerked upwards when I spoke to her. She slowly, fearfully turned around. She was so nervous her movements were stiff. Come on, act natural. Dude, Takuru, you're doing way worse.
飲み物を買ってきてくれないか。ちょうどなくなっちゃって。
Can you go get me something to drink? I just ran out.
っていうか宮代くんさ、まだここにいるつもり？これでも僕、君たちを連れて帰らなきゃならない立場なんだけどな。
Wait, Miyashiro, are you still planning on staying here? I really have to get you guys home. Miyashiro, that was really stupid. Really stupid. That was really stupid. Okay, you know what's a really good excuse? You say, like, how hard would it be to just, like, say, like, you're gonna pack up? Like, obviously you can get into this place anytime you want to later. You want to just be like, oh, yeah, okay. Hey, Kazuki, pack up. Let's head somewhere or something. Like, come on, man. Or here's an easy excuse. You text her. How are you gonna escape? Have her get up and go to leave and tell her you'll be like, oh, hey, go into the bathroom, and she'll be like, And he's like, oh, she's going to the bathroom. Like, come on, man, there's so many easy plays to get one person out of the room here. Bathroom break is an easy excuse. Easy excuse. Oh well. Sorry, I said I wouldn't complain anymore, and here I am. Alright, wait. Okay, you really want to get us home?
でも涌井先生の話、も
I
うちょっ
want
と
to
聞き
hear
たい
more
んで。
about what you have to say. What the fuck?
本当？
What, really?
それは嬉しいな。最近の生徒ってさ、僕の昔話なんて鬱陶しがるばかりでね。
Students these days always seem to get bored when I talk about the old times.
なんなら新聞部で記事にしましょうか。涌井先生特集。
He's going for the flattery route. Alright, that's a thing. Why don't we do an article for the newspaper club? We could do a whole special on you.
いやいや、そんなの照れ
Oh
ちゃ
no,
う
you're
よ。
embarrassing me. This is like unnecessarily large amounts of flattery. This is sketchy. I was shocked to find I was speaking as well as, say, Ito.
和樹ももうしばらくゲームをしていたいだろ。
Kazuki wants to keep playing your game for a while, right? Kazuki stood up, uncertain.
付き合ってやるから、その代わり自販機でジュース買ってきてよ。
We'll stay here for a bit, so get me something to drink from the vending machine. I took a coin out of my pocket and practically forced it into Kazuki's hands.
よろしく。
Run away without me, I tried to motion to her with my eyes. I don't know if she understood. She nodded reluctantly. Then she slipped past me and headed for the door.
和樹くん、平気？なんなら
Are you
僕も
okay?
一緒に行こっ
Want
か。
me to go with you? Was he watching us? Did he figure us out? You're doing like the most obvious ploys imaginable, but I guess whatever. His expression was the same as it had been for a while now. It was the same goofy look the students always joked about.
大丈夫ですって。今学校には誰もいないし。
She says she's fine. There's nobody in the school right now.
先生も何か飲みたいなら、和樹に買ってきてもらったら。
You want something to drink too? Maybe ask Kazuki to get it for you? And then I realized I might have made a mistake. Yeah, you're being super suspicious. Kazuki's hand was already on the doorknob.
あ、それじゃあ頼もうかな。
Oh, maybe I will.
僕、缶コーヒーね。微糖のやつ。わかる？朝用って書いてあるんだけど、赤い色の缶だよ。
I'll take a can of coffee, the one with a little bit of sugar. You know the one I mean? It says for mornings on it. It's in a red can. Kazuki glanced at me. You're worrying too much about me. You'll figure out something's wrong. Okui was rummaging through the inner pocket of his suit.
僕さ、小銭は財布に入れない派なんだよね。あちこちのポケットに直接入れて持ち運ぶんだ。
I never put coins in my wallet, you know. I always keep them in different pockets.
そしたら、財布を落とした時の被害分散にもなるし。
So if I ever drop my wallet, I won't lose as much money.
お札は別ね。ちゃんと札入れを持ってるよ。
Doesn't go for bills, though. I put them in a bill holder. He was really talkative today. How long did it take to search for change?
それに、ほら、自分でどこにいくら入れたか忘れちゃうとさ、後で再発見した時に少しラッキーって思ったりできるだろう。
And you know, if you ever forget where you put your money, when you find it again, you feel like you made a lucky discovery, right?
そういうささやかな喜びが人生には必要なんだよ。
You need those kind of small joys in life.
先生、いいから早くお金渡して。僕、喉が渇いて仕方ないんですよ。
Kui, hurry up and give her the money. I'm really thirsty. I got a little aggravated, my tone was harsh, but I instantly regretted it. If I didn't act calm, Waku would find out what I was up to. He's already
悪い
found.
ね。なかなか見つからなくて。お、あった。
Sorry, I'm having so much trouble finding it. Ah, here we go. He finally took 200 yen out of his pants pocket.
じゃ、よろしく。
Ah, thanks.
うん。
Kazuki spread out her hand. It was holding the few coins I'd given her. Kui put his hand over hers and dropped 200 yen pieces. The coins fell and collided with the coins in Kazuki's hand. And didn't make a sound. What? That's weird. This close, I should be able to hear the sound of 2 small pieces of metal colliding. Ku was rummaging through his pockets again as he opened and closed his mouth. What was he doing? It felt weird. Suddenly, I realized why. Kui was talking to Kazuki, but I couldn't hear what he was saying. Why? I put my finger in my ear to hear if it was clogged, and I noticed something else weird. Normally, I'd be able to hear the sound of my fingertip touching my eardrum. But no matter how many times I jammed my finger into the small hole, I didn't hear a sound. Come to think of it, I hadn't heard any other sound for a while either. Why? What's going on? I spoke to Kazuki. Is something weird going on? I thought I said that, but I couldn't hear my own voice. Kazuki didn't respond at all. She was just looking at the coins in her hand as if she was about to cry. Can you hear me? I yelled louder, but it didn't work. Why? This didn't make sense. I like how Takuru takes like 20 minutes to determine that there's a problem. My hearing was normal a second ago. There was no way I'd just go deaf like that, which meant something was going on, but I had no idea what it could be. I tried to tell myself that I might be hallucinating. Closed my lips and stood as still as I could. I listened carefully. It wasn't pure silence. I could hear what sounded like a ringing in my ears. I could still hear it. How did ringing in your ears work again? Was it really a sound in the strictest sense? Was it made by vibrating air, or was it sounded kind of supersonic wave? Suddenly, I felt very nervous and opened up my web browser on my phone to run a search. When I read what I found there, I got scared. Stress is said to be one cause, but it still occurs. It's still unknown where exactly in the body it occurs. The hell? I was sure modern medicine would have an answer for that. How could they say they didn't know? Once I started noticing it, I couldn't ignore the ringing. The constant noise started to seem extremely unpleasant. Why was I hearing this ringing and nothing else? I looked back at Kazuki. She was holding her ears and looking around frantically. Was it happening to her too? Kazuki! I tried yelling. Kazuki didn't respond, but Wakiwi looked at me. His lips twisted into a grin. I like how dumb we're being. If one or both of us dies, it's gonna be kind of amusing. This is so obviously something psychic going on, and not only did we... Okay, so, not only have we said... hold up, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Okay. 1, something is clearly off and we're deaf. 2, he's speaking a full sentence and nobody can hear, but he doesn't find it unusual or panic or think there's a problem. Okay, this is 2 full sentences out of someone's mouth. Let's see. He says something verbally. He takes a minute to think about something, says something again, yelling, thinks for a minute, and starts listening carefully after reposing himself. He spends time Googling something on his phone. Wait, where'd the Google go? Yeah. Spends 5 minutes Googling something on his phone. Imagine Googling something. Okay, so he has time to run a Google search on his phone. That he reads a couple news articles. He reads a couple articles because this is Google, and then he tries yelling. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but running a Google search on my phone, saying 5 sentences, and listening to an entire conversation happen in front of you is about 2 to 5 minutes. This guy literally spent 5 minutes before realizing that something was going on and that he was in danger. If you get murdered when magically you go deaf at 1 minute and so is your friend and you don't notice it and you're clearly screaming and nobody's noticing you doing anything, you have to notice something's wrong at some point. And he only notices, he still hasn't noticed that they're in danger. He still hasn't noticed it. How do you not notice there's something wrong going on? You're okay, I'm deaf, my friend is suddenly deaf, and I'm literally screaming and nobody can hear me. And this guy in the back can clearly see myself screaming behind her. And he's he's screaming and thinks, and he's oh, that's weird. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're not in danger. Alright, it was him. Oh, we finally noticed it. He was like a totally different person. The face of a lazy, unreliable teacher had changed completely. The easygoing, peaceful smile was gone. That was when I knew. He was an assassin from the committee, just like Nightheart had said. And you know what? I'm actually hoping that you die, Takuru. Please tell me Takuru dies like he does in the Hana route. Please tell me he just dies, because this is the most pathetic. Knowing there's an assassin after you, this is literally the stupidest thing you could possibly do as a response. You're like, it's like someone pulls a gun and shoots at you and you're like, am I in danger? No, that guy was shooting someone behind me. Sees no one behind me because he's at a dead end. Oh, he must have been aiming for a fly. That's weird. Hey, sir, are you aiming for a fly on the wall? Did you miss? And the guy starts fucking shooting at you, hits you, and you're like, oh, that's weird. The guy must have accidentally shot me. Clearly he was aiming for the window behind me. You're like, how much denial are you fucking in? Holy shit, dude. You had advanced notice, and you literally fucked yourself as hard as humanly possible. It's quite impressive, honestly. He's an assassin from the committee, like Nightheart said, and you're a fucking idiot, Takuru. Please die. What was happened to me was because of his attack. How could he be doing that? Was he a psychic too? Ah, it felt like the ringing was glowing louder. Oh, perfect. We're still not reacting to this guy. We've now decided this man is attempting to murder us, and our response is just stand there and be like, is he an assassin? He's an assassin. That's unfortunate. He's actively trying to kill us now. That's unfortunate. What should we do? It was all I could hear. It kept ringing at the same frequency, never letting up. Who cares if it's just ringing in your ears? You can go attack him now. You have a magic fucking sword. It's like it was stabbing into my brain. I wanted to run, but I couldn't. There was no point in putting my hands over my ears. The ringing hadn't even been there that long, but I already felt like I was going crazy. Use your stand power. Yeah, please. I tried screaming. I tried yelling as loudly as I could, but it didn't work. No matter how much I howled, I couldn't hear my own voice. Who would have known it would be stressful not to be able to hear your own voice? Who would have known you could be this stupid and instead of trying to defend yourself, just scream and run in circles? I mean, I know Takuru's retarded, but like, please, if you're in danger, please have a different please have a different response to literally any source of danger than Takuru. Please, like, in real life, I really hope you don't act like Takuru. This is a man who in any real life situation would be dead within 5 minutes if anything bad happened. Like, no matter how easy it is, if he's trying to wrestle a gun from a 2-year-old, he would still fail because he'd just be like walking in circles, going, I wonder if the 2-year-old will shoot me. I wonder if the 2-year-old can take the safety off. Probably not. We'll be fine. Oh, a gunshot already. Well, it'll be fine. The 2-year-old wouldn't dare shoot again. That was a loud noise. Blam. Oh, a second time. Well, we'll all be fine. Oh, my friend's dead. That's weird. Well, how could the 2-year-old have killed someone? Like, come on, man. He doesn't even need to use his D sword. He just needs to not be retarded for 5 minutes. I put my hand to my throat and screamed again. My vocal cords were vibrating. I must be speaking. All I could hear was the noise. How many seconds is he wasting here? Real question. Like, we're in a life and death situation with an assassin, and he still hasn't decided to act. All I could hear was the noise. Was this really just a ringing in my ears anyway? It seemed like an endless thunder in the sky. Maybe I was starting to go crazy. Maybe hearing the ringing sound for so long meant I couldn't even recognize it as ringing anymore. Or maybe I was just hallucinating. My head started to hurt. Maybe. My field of vision kept wavering. I couldn't keep my balance. Even standing up became difficult. It was like standing on the deck of a ship during a storm. I fell to my knees, unable to stay up any longer. I begged to hear another sound. I slapped my own body, slammed my smartphone into the ground, desperate to hear any other kind of sound, but it didn't work. Okay, guys. So, someone's trying to murder you with a sonic attack. Now, it's moderately irritating you, and it's not actually crippling you in any way, shape, or form. It's like tinnitus. Now, naturally, the only response to have to any form of tinnitus, especially after any hearing loss, is to slap yourself and slam your smartphone in the ground, breaking it, because you want to hear something other than the minor ringing sound in your ears. By the way, really easy to get tinnitus from going to like any concerts or listening to music too loud. Hearing background noise, really easy, by the way. Thankfully, Takuru knows how to react to tinnitus appropriately. What you do when you hear annoying ringing sounds in your ears is to like have a full-on panic attack, punch yourself, and destroy your smartphone. Keep going, man. I felt my phone vibrating and looked at the screen. I had a message. Was it from Kazuki? Maybe she found a solution. I opened it, hopeful. Of course my hopes were crushed. It was from Wakui, not Kazuki. And this is what it said. He can still see, by the way. They say that in a completely silent environment, any human will go mad within 45 minutes. Okay. I looked up. Wakui was looking down at me with a cruel smile on his face. I'm still surprised that he's this stupid. Shakuru, we literally... Now, not only is this guy laughing hysterically at this sonic attack happening to us and our effects, but we've also had an admission, and our reaction is like, oh, wow, someone's trying to kill us and drive us completely insane. Interesting. That's cool. Someone's attempting to drive me insane, and I now have a 45-minute clock. Well, probably about 20 minutes now, because we spent about 25 of them doing nothing. As in real life, the amount of time that he's taken is more than like 10 minutes. He's done multiple Google searches. He's yelled multiple times. He's looked things up on the internet. He's played with his fucking phone. Like, God, I swear to God, like, the guy could just go to the computer, log into the game, ask Nightheart or whatever his name is, what's his name? The online guy, and be like, hey, I can't hear anymore. Am I in danger? And he'd be like, oh yeah, it's a psychic attack. And he'd be like, wow, that's weird. And he could have a whole conversation while Wakui's standing over his shoulder, and he'd just be like, this is your reaction to me trying to kill you? Seriously? I looked up. All right. There's a can of coffee in his hands. I wasn't sure when he got it. A can of coffee. He's already gone and gotten a drink. Apparently, deaf people don't, I mean, like, oh my God. This is so sad. All right. I wasn't sure when he got it. He took a slow sip from it and laughed. What happened to Kazuki? I spun my head around desperately looking for her. Is Kazuki already dead? She is rolled up in a ball by the entrance to the room. She covered her ears with her hands and was shaking. Why are neither of you responding? Now listen, I understand that rooms that have perfect silence are unnerving to people, but people are capable of acting, and in a rational human being should immediately respond to like dead silence and do something. Like, if your life is in danger, you should be doing something. I don't understand why we've gotten so far into this conversation or into this dialogue and scenario, and our character still hasn't given a shit about anything happening. And all right, she couldn't escape either. Had Wakui known all along that we knew who he was and were trying to escape? Evidently, because you got Kazuki killed with your stupid dialogue. I thought I could get the initiative, but he'd been laughing at me the whole time. It was pretty obvious, honestly. You kept giving him really suspicious lines and acting really dumb. Still, wasn't there anything that could be done about this ringing? I thought it was a constant frequency, but it wasn't. Why is he still thinking about the ringing? I'm so confused. Stop thinking about the ringing. That's not there's a obvious source, and there's someone trying to kill you. Why are you thinking about the ring? You're like, I should stop the ringing. Man, this guy's laughing at me and trying to murder me. I should stop the ringing. Nah. I shouldn't threaten the person who's causing it or trying to kill me. It's fine. You can try to kill me. It's all good, man. I'm gonna be fine. Like someone's trying to stab you to death and you're like, man, I should probably look for some gauze. Ooh, I wonder if there's gauze in the cabinet. Get stabbed again. Oh, wait. I think there's gauze in the cabinet to the left. Get stabbed again. Oh, no, it's on the right door. Get stabbed again. Oh, okay. Oh, here it is. I'll patch up the first injury. Oops, get stabbed again. I just keep getting stabbed. I can't imagine why. It's so weird. Oh, I got stabbed again. Oh. And he just cut through the bandage I put on. Can you believe it? What a guy. I have to get more bandages from the cabinet. It's like, come on, man. All right, there's a faint rhythm. What was this sound? I wanted to get rid of it somehow. Otherwise, I might go crazy like Wakui said. Then my phone shook again. It was another message from Wakui. You want to know what the sound is? I looked up at Wakui and nodded. Yeah. He laughed. He seemed really happy and moved his lips in big, easy-to-read motions. It's the sound of your body. It's then that I realized that I made so much noise. There are so many different chaotic noises within my own body. Yep. It made sense. It was normal for a living creature. My heart beat, my blood vessels contracted, my blood cycled, my cells died and were born. My lungs inhaled air and exhaled carbon dioxide. My organs emitted all kinds of different fluids. My intestines contracted, my nails grew, my hair grew. All those things made tiny little sounds. Normally you go through your whole life without hearing the sounds your own body made. Can you not hear the... Hold up. Normally you go through your entire life without hearing the sounds your own body made. Have you ever heard your heartbeat? Seriously, dude? If it's like perfectly quiet, you can sometimes hear it, man. Does your hearing suck? I feel like, yeah, your heart racing. Sometimes you can practically hear it. You can, if nothing else, like feel/hear the thudding. Anyway. Alright. Now, with my senses of hearing shut off, they were overflowing from within me. Alright. They were the sounds of my life. There was no joy in hearing the breath of life so directly. I wasn't trying to make those sounds. It felt like my body wasn't mine. How far are we going to get into this dialogue before Takuru reacts to the fact someone's trying to kill him? Please. I felt like someone was giving my body orders without asking my permissions, and once I started thinking that way, I couldn't stop. My mind and body had separated. There was nothing but the terrifying sounds of life. My own body scared me. I wanted to rip my mind away from this lump of flesh. I wanted to rip off my skin, yank out my lungs, my heart, my intestines, every single organ, every single blood vessel. I screamed in fear, but I couldn't hear myself. Only the chaotic sounds of my body as they played in layered harmony. And since there was nothing else to hear, I was forced to listen. I was forced to imagine which organ was making which sound. Okay. I'm like so confused. Like, dude, just do something about it. I don't understand why our character's not reacting. We're so far into this scene, and our character has not reacted whatsoever to the fact, like, that he's in there. Like, run away? Like, you don't even have to attack this guy. He's bigger than you. That's fine. Just run away and see what happens. Like, you're just not reacting. Please react. I swear to God. I know Takuru, like, has stupid panic attacks, but I swear, it has to have been at least 5 minutes since this started, and he hasn't reacted whatsoever. This is the perfect way to kill Takuru. He is the kind of person who literally never acts unless someone touches him and pushes him into action, and this is just like a passive attack. So he's just gonna die or go insane because he doesn't have a reaction to anything. Alright? The sounds overlapped more and more. A disharmonious noise that bounced off the walls of my skull. I didn't know if it was a real sound, an echo, or if I was just hallucinating. By the way, I believe nobody hears nothing, because I believe even deaf people hear something. Even if their nerves don't work. Much like I believe if you're blind, you don't necessarily see nothing. Blind people can still visualize things, which means they sort of have like internal sight, right? You can still visualize things even if you're blind, and I think you can still sort of hear things if you're deaf. You obviously don't hear any sounds, but I believe you can in fact be deaf and hear the ringing sound. You can be deaf and still hear like a ringing sound from like tinnitus, if you go deaf from hearing loss. Because there are some things that trigger as sounds in your brain that aren't actually sourced from like the vibration of your bones, those like bones in your ears, right? I believe as you suffer hearing loss, or if your hearing is bad, your auditory nerve will actually generate false signals sometimes. So even if you're actually deaf, you can still hear stuff because your auditory nerve could be transmitting false signals to you. But anyway, sure, maybe we're hearing, and we would be hearing perfect sounds, except we can hear our own organs, so we're not actually completely deaf. Although this is what might more likely be happening is we can feel things happening in our body, and our brain, our auditory nerve, our like brain is trying to interpret that as sound, and that's why we hear that. That's probably what's happening to him right now. He might actually be unable to hear anything, but his brain's interpreting the feelings of his like body's movements that's like one of the only things he can pay attention to as sounds, and it can like it's like faintly replicating what it thinks they should look like or thinks they should sound like because they're usually in the background. Probably something like that. Anyway, My thoughts were swept up in the flood of sound. That didn't make sense. Why was I suffocating in a flood of sound if I couldn't hear? You can hear. It's your brain. He's like messing. Alright, whatever. How long is this going to last? The rest of your life? 45 minutes, apparently. Until I died? I couldn't stand that. Did he say after 45 minutes I'd go mad? I wasn't even going to last that long. I didn't want to hear this noise for another second. Okay. Someone turn it off. I'll do anything as long as you turn it off. I'd rather die. I want to die. Kill me. I crawled on the floor and reached out my hand towards Wakui's feet. I still don't understand what he's doing. Please, dude. Just react in any way. Please, react. Kill me. I begged for death. You can't hear for 5 minutes and you want to beg for death. Seriously? Kill me. I long for the silence that awaited beyond it. This guy's even admitted to being the source of this deafness. I don't understand. Kill me. Release me from this sound, please. Kill me. Suddenly a sound like shattering glass traveled from my ears to the rest of my body. I could hear my own voice. Wakui literally let us go. You know, he looks pissed. He looks pissed that you're this retarded. I'm gonna be honest. If I was an assassin trying to drive you insane, and I'm freely admitting to trying to drive you insane with this sound wave and kill you, and then I'm like a psychic who can manipulate sound and fuck you as hard as I want, and your only reaction is like, oh, okay. I'd be like, are you fucking serious? Does this guy not have any survival instincts whatsoever? Does he have no will to live whatsoever? Like, how can you be this pathetic? I'd be like, Takuru is super pathetic. Alright. Well, the sound of my shallow breathing was surprisingly clear. It wasn't just that. The sound of my clothes rustling, the chiding chirping of birds in the distance, the sound of wind, or the leaves blowing through. At least the good news is Wakui knows there's literally nothing he can do to this guy, to Takuru, that would make him respond violently. The sound of patrol car siren, the sound of Kazuki's pan coughing as she curled up in a ball next to me. To be fair, we've seen a couple bad ends where our character literally does nothing when someone dies before him, so, you know, it's not surprising. Sound of Kazuki's pain coughing as she curled in a ball next to me. I could hear all those tiny sounds. I could hear every single sound in the world with abnormal clarity. What just happened? Seriously? Seriously. We got this far and he hasn't come to any conclusions or even used one brain cell. I know he's dumb, but usually he's at least aware of the danger and the source, especially when someone told him that they're fucking trying to drive him insane. My vision was blurry. My head still hurt. But the sound was back. I'd never been so happy in my life to hear all this noise. We were interrupted, I see. Kui spoke calmly as he walked to the windowsill. The glass on the club room window was broken. He picked something off the floor. It was a ball. A baseball, huh? A coincidence? Or not. So, let's think about this. The only thing we had to do was snap that guy's concentration for 1 second. A baseball broke one of the windows in this room. It didn't hit anybody. It didn't hit him. And suddenly we could hear again. Literally any reaction that broke his concentration would have done that. We might have even been able to break line of sight to escape him. We didn't react whatsoever, and we got saved. Are you fucking serious? Please, Takuru should have died there. That is fucking stupid. A baseball came through the window, and that interrupted Wakui's attack. What? Oh, you realize it's an attack and you still don't give a shit? Holy shit, man! This was the 5th floor. Who the fuck threw the ball? The baseball team wasn't practicing outside, and this room didn't even face the baseball diamond anyway. The only people in the school know the whole surrounding area would have been me, Kazuki, and Wakui.
宮代くんたちに手を出すなら相応の理由を説明しろということかな。やれやれ。彼女は宮代くんに対して本当に甘いね。
I suppose this is her way of saying, if I'm gonna mess with Miyashiro and his friend, I need to give her a very good reason. She really does spoil you, Miyashiro. Wakui was saying something, and I'm disappointed. Please, I wanted him to die. He didn't seem to be talking to anyone. He wasn't speaking to us. He wasn't on the phone. What was he talking about?
いいよ。今日のところはここまでにしておくよ。
Alright, that's enough for today, I guess.
宮代くん、 和樹くん。悪いが、続きはまたにさせてもらうね。
Sure, Kazuki. I'm afraid we'll have to continue this another time. Okui's voice was gentle, but he didn't even glance down at us as he went to the door.
一つ教えておくけど、逃げられるなんて思わない方がいい。
I'll tell you one thing though, don't think you can get away. I mean, don't worry, Wakui. We literally won't respond to you if you try to murder us. Do whatever you like. We're pathetic.
君たちはやりすぎたんだ。
You've gone too far.
委員会は君たち二人を世界の敵として認定
Committee
した。
designated you an enemy of the
これは
world. The matter's been
決定事項でね。
decided, you see.
故にこの地球上のどこへ行こうと、我々は世界規模のネットワークで君たちを捉え続ける。見失うことはないんだ。絶対にね。
No matter where on earth you run, we'll use our worldwide network to track you. We won't let you escape, ever. It's okay. I'm Takuru Miyashiro, apparently, and I'm not a person who runs or fights. I have neither a fight nor a flight reflex. I merely have an existence reflex, where I just sit there and observe everything. I want to observe everything and have panic attacks until I die.
では、また。
Goodbye.
気をつけて帰りなさい。
Be careful on your way home. I was really hoping he'd suffer something permanent. Like if Akui just broke his leg or something, that'd be hilarious. It's like, oh, you can't even hear that your leg's broken or feel that your nerves are on fire from the pain. Isn't that weird? Oh, bye. But he didn't torment us all that much. He just gave us that noise. All right, Akui leaves. Kazuki and I were left alone. I could hear Kazuki moan. I could hear her breathing
カズ
clearly.
キ大丈夫か？
Kazuki, are you okay? I was surprised at my voice. I don't know what the fuck Kazuki was doing either. But we're focused on Takuru, so I'm not going to talk about Kazuki because I don't know. We barely know anything about her character. Although, she was willing to go to bat for us when we were too much of a bitch to try and defend ourselves. So, I mean, I would have thought she'd try to do something. Was this what my voice sounded like? Kazuki was lying on the ground shaking her head. Of course she wasn't fine. I looked closer and there was a puddle under her legs. Her skirt was strangely wet too. She must have peed herself when Wakui attacked her. Really? How are both of you so pathetic? At least she had like the courage to go to bat for you when you were like in danger from the pyromaniac. I don't know what the fuck she's doing panicking over this though. Holy shit. This was just how terrifying it was. Okay, I actually want to go into one of those, like, soundproof chambers. You know, these rooms actually exist, right? These rooms actually exist where you can hear literally nothing except for, like, the sound you make, right? These rooms actually exist. I'd like to go in one of those rooms for literally 2 minutes and figure out if I can still think. Just be like, okay, I'm going to move my hand forward and swing a punch just to demonstrate that I'm less retarded than Takuru. That's all you needed to do. Why did Wakui let us go? Why did he torture us instead of killing us? Because you didn't even bother defending yourself. It was pathetic, dude. I didn't know and I didn't want to think about it. I didn't even have the energy to stand up, but I forced myself to do so anyway. I didn't want to stay there. There was probably nowhere that was safe, but I wanted to get away before Wakui changed his mind. I let Kazuki lean on my shoulder as we left the school. Of course, we saw no one on the way home. October 17th, 2015. That was a thoroughly unnecessary encounter that was incredibly stupid. I have no clue what we're doing, but I think we're gonna wrap things up now, because holy shit. I don't think I can take another scene with the courier tonight. I will like literally start screaming at him. I need a break from Takuru. So we're gonna take a break now, and I'll catch you guys for the next chapter of Chaos Child.